USPBL baseball today is presented by Pepsi and another warm and non-windy day. Thus far, we'll see if that changes a bit closer to game time. Jeremy out alongside Brendan Shabat to bring you the call here today. So glad he could tune in on a fine Thursday for baseball. It's the visiting Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and the home Eastside Diamond Hoppers here today on Ted Lasso night as well. A bit more on that as we go on here today, but it's been kind of a jam-packed schedule, it seems like, with all the midweeks that we've had. We only had one this week. It was yesterday, the Unicorns and the Mammoths going at it. You know, two teams in a little bit of a different spot. Mammoths still trying to find their way, and a lot of new pieces and a lot of these rosters right now.
In the Unicorns, believe it or not, Jeremy picked up a win in that game. Still just one loss on the year. We're seeing the team today and the Diamond Hoppers, who have really been one of the only competitive teams with the Unicorns consistently, especially over the last few games. And they'll get a chance on Saturday in the doubleheader against the Corns. But, yeah, more new faces on this Beavers squad tonight. And we're seeing the new faces quickly no longer become new. We're seeing guys like Yadi Rivera and Parker for the Hoppers make names for themselves. Dakota McFadden was a Mammoth, and now he's a Beaver. He's starting behind. He had a good game in their doubleheader last week. And so these new faces are quickly new, and that's a good thing.
Well, and if there was any question in terms of how they were going to treat this season, you're going to have to perform. And we just saw a guy who was only here 2 games virtually. I mean, there's more days than that when you're working out and stuff, but 2 games and you're gone. So there's a definite emphasis on you have to perform and perform right away and show what you have.
Yeah, and I think the lack of total at-bats and innings and reps that is just natural with a 4-team league like this leads to a lot more of the eye test holding a greater value for each player. And from what we've seen in seasons past and in this season, some of the players that haven't quite performed, it's easy to say, oh, well, this person didn't have a lot of opportunities or a lot of at-bats or whatever. But I think for the most part, those decisions have been correct in the guys that have been let go, and that you could see it in the eye test that they weren't quite ready to play at this level. And new people come in, and they have the same opportunity that previous players did, and they still have to do good with that opportunity as well.
Take a look at your pitcher comparison brought to you by Ascension here today. It's Zach Devin going for the visiting Beavers and Carson Ferry here for the Diamond Hoppers. Ferry got an inning the other day as kind of the virtual bullpen on Sunday, which is something that, you know, in an instructional league like this and development league, they're able to do a little bit more. Yeah,
Ferry went in there in a close game with the Unicorns that the Hoppers desperately wanted to win with a one-run lead, and they had some lefty-lefty matchups that they liked in there, especially with one of the best pitchers in the league. You're always going to like a handedness matchup, especially late in the game too. And he's been dealing with some command issues lately that he's worked on, and while they didn't want to overthrow his arm and make sure he was ready for the start today, they wanted to make sure he was still good and comfortable out there on the mound and not have too long between times that he's thrown. So that's why he got that inning out there.
Zach Devin, on the other hand, you see his numbers, just 6 innings pitched this year, trying to get his feet wet even more. A guy that we're looking forward to seeing as well here today.
Yeah, Devin had the spot start for this Hoppers team earlier in the year, has looked good in that, and what did look good in that, it has looked good since he's been back on the Beavers. Only 4 total appearances, so he's a guy that we're looking out for to see how he does today. It seems like that 4, 5, and 6 mark, whether it's games or appearances for pitchers, tends to be the different one, whether that's the one that stands out as, hey, this guy just went 6 innings pitched with 3 hits and 5 strikeouts. That's a really good day. Or where someone kind of gets knocked around a little bit and say, okay, now we've seen what happens when you get knocked around. How do you respond? And how do you deal with that? So we'll see what that is for Devin today. The interesting thing is I'm really excited to see him throw to his catcher, Dakota McFadden, who we've talked about, longtime childhood best friends. And McFadden hasn't caught – he caught 1 game last week, his first game in over 9 years. But I'm interested to see if him behind the dish helps Devin do better and vice versa, if Devin will help Dakota be better behind the dish. But it's a great story, and I think it's going to make both of them better, and they should have good chemistry.
Yeah, we've certainly seen how baseball can come full circle a number of times in this league, but that's a pretty strong piece of information there as well. Let's check the rest of the starting lineups here today. First for the visiting Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. It'll be Luke Fenley leading things off and playing second today. Chris Davis bats second, plays left. Eric Whitfield back in there in the DH spots. He is 11 for 38 to start this year so far. J.D. Stubbs, a newcomer right in the heart of that lineup, along with all the two next to him as well, in Wellington Guzman playing his first game here, and Marcos Castillo as well. Ryan Sullivan will bat seventh, play right. Dakota McFadden will bat eighth and catch today, and Cam Collette will round things off with a .324 average at the bottom of the order and some speed, 3 for 3 on the base pass so far this year against Carson Ferry. As for the home Eastside Diamond Hoppers, it'll be Alex Pupp. He's kind of settled into that leadoff spot, done a nice job showing his speed once in a while as well. The shortstop today, Blake Porter, will bat second and play center field. Joe Burke back in the 3 holes. He plays first. 4 home runs so far this year. More walks than strikeouts as well. Something to watch as the year goes on. Batting fourth, Yadi Rivera. 3 for 10 start for him. Bryant Schellenbarger, he's really found his power stroke in the last few games. He'll bat fifth and play right. Sean Lawler in the 6th hole. He'll play left. Marcoux, a guy we're really enthused to see as they go on. They really like his swing. More on that later. He'll bat 7th in the DH tier today. Whit Hughes in the 8th hole he'll catch. And Walker Paz will round things out and play second base as they face the aforementioned Zach Devon here today. Well, newcomers. It seems that's what we've been talking about for the last 2-3 weeks, and even after the first week, the Unicorns brought in some guys, but there's a familiar face, Felix Aberrett, who's back in the catching spot to be the backup here today. He went and played a few games in the American Association. Haven't gotten the full story on that, but he hit well in his limited time there. We don't know about his defense, but maybe a case of, like we saw with Connor Bagneski with the Mammoths as well coming back, just didn't get the time that he wanted, and gave him the opportunity to join another team, and he's back here in the USPBL hoping to move on.
Yeah, only 9 games played in the Pioneer League. The interesting thing that I thought about when looking at Felix's numbers is he, typical for a catcher, struggled in college, hit sub 200 average, didn't have really hardly any power, only 22 RBIs, more strikeouts than walks, not a huge ratio, but noticeable. But then when he made it to the pros, 34 games in the league last year, almost a 300 average at 284, hit 9 home runs, 21 RBIs, more than half as many walks as strikeouts. So he really turned around his hitting in the advancement to the professional level. Now we'll see what he brings defensively and how much he can relieve Dakota McFadden for the Beavers behind the dish, and maybe McFadden can kind of move back into a first base, third base DH role for the Beavers as he was on the Mammoths. But I'm surprised to see Aberrett's numbers grow from college and as big as they did. I mean, his average went up 120 points from his college days to his first professional season, and that's no small sample size over a course of 34 games. So that's a nice addition for the Beavers, who really could use a big bat in the lineup.
Well, much more coming up here on the USPBL pregame show. Talk about some of the other new guys as well and take a deeper dive into these 2 lineups here today. And Ted Lasso night, more on that. It's one of Brendan's favorite shows as well. He'll dive into some of his favorite quotes maybe throughout the broadcast as well. He did not go with the stash quite yet. Maybe he'll pick one of those up as the night goes on, though.
We'll see, yeah. It's not a bad look.
First 500 through the building received those sunglasses and the fake stash to put out. So not a bad get here today as well. Stick around, much more when we get back on the USPBL Network.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier health care and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon. Come on and keep me satisfied. Go let 'em see what's under the shade.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Three 0 high and tight as Fenley gets the free pass here. A reminder, you can chime in with us on Facebook and YouTube. We'd love to hear where you're watching from here tonight. Maybe you have a question about either of these two teams or a Ted Lasso quote that you'd like to share with us.
Yeah. Always in the mood for a good Ted Lasso quote.
First pitch to Chris Davis, 91, and for strike one. Davis still looking for his first professional hit, 0 for 12 to begin the game, or to begin the career thus far.
We should see Ferry attack here after the 4-pitch walk as well.
Curveball kind of came out of the hand a bit funky there. Just didn't look like his normal delivery as Davis looks at that one outside as well, 1-1.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a too late of a release on that curve. The timing is so important, especially for breaking balls for a pitcher, to have that release at the right time.
Now the 1-1 popped him up. Pup steering straight into the sun. Rivera as well. He will pick it up for out number 1.
I like that by Rivera to call off his pitcher. You want a pitcher to have to make as few defensive plays as necessary. And while Ferry is an athlete, he certainly could have made that one. And if he wasn't a pitcher, is the first person who should have caught that pop-up. But Yadi Rivera knows the situation, does a nice job calling him off, communicating, getting out number 1.
Now the first pitch to Whitfield. Lollipops that one to right. Schellenberger coming over and back to make the catch. Fenley to advance to third despite the dart. And did he say out? It was such a nonchalant call. He did say out at third base. Wow, what a play. Schellenberger hanging with it. Paz to Rivera. Really nice relay to end the top of the first inning here. Now time for your thrifty florist sweethearts of the game here today. JJ is out there and getting ready to present some more flowers. Kara, a member of our crew normally, your in-game host here today, filling in for Chelsea Estes.
Kara's done work at Detroit Mercy before with you, Jeremy.
Yep.
Certainly a qualified substitute today. Her first time doing this at the USPBL, so congrats to her.
Now time for your Freaky Fast Facts, presented by Jimmy John's here today. Ted Lasso started out as a commercial.
True fans are aware of that, an NBC commercial.
A group of goldfish is called a troubling. Did not know that
There's
one.
a lot of group animal official names that are very strange.
I saw one for a stingray yesterday. There was like 100 stingrays rushing through Florida waters, and I don't remember what it was called, but they used that
Really?
grouping name.
My favorite one is a group of crows is a murder.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. The average Brit buys 500 biscuits per year.
Okay, now this is interesting because biscuits means something different over there than it does over here.
True.
Are they talking about American biscuits? I think like cookies are often referred to as biscuits, or like similar type, not exactly an American cookie, but a English delicacy kind of dessert type are often referred to as biscuits.
I'm going to guess it's the other kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now 500, that doesn't seem like a lot. I feel like I eat more than 500 cookies in like 3 months.
Just had a couple in the last few days, you know?
Yeah. That doesn't mean I buy all of them, but still, you get the point.
Zach Devin on the mound here for the Beavers. You mentioned it earlier. Made just one spot start for the Hoppers, but has been with his Beavers team the rest of the way. The native of Livonia, Clarenceville, 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, 25 years old. 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, a changeup, a slider, and a curveball to pair with it as well. Nick Kreitzer getting a chance to coach first base as you see him there on an off day for him as for now.
Yeah, Kreitzer needs a little rest. He's been a busy guy at the dish lately for the Hoppers, but as we mentioned in the pregame, very excited to see Devin and McFadden combine today as the 1 and 2 outfielders out there for the Beavers. I have no idea how this is going to go, and I'm trying to limit my expectations, but in speaking with both of them, it just seems like they have a lot of love for each other and really are excited that they get to be on the same team and in this combination, too, as catcher-pitcher.
Alex Pup, Blake Porter, Joe Burke. Your 3 men due up here in the first inning. We have some comments here. MGB Wrestling Podcast says, this Brit is loving the biscuit chat.
Well,
LOL. Well, set us
I was
straight.
gonna say, can you answer our biscuit question then? Is this like a cookie? Is it like American biscuits that are made in like the oven and stuff, or you put butter with, or is this like a different English delicacy? But we're glad you're enjoying the chat.
Yes.
Can you send us some biscuits?
That'd be cool right now. Why not?
Yeah.
First pitch at 87 dips low to Alex Pup. Lolani says, Walker's family watching from their vacation in Florida. Let's go Hoppers. Or, yeah, down in Florida. It's got to be pretty hot down there these days. 1-0.
I mean, it's hot up here, let alone
Cycles
down
in
there.
for strike one. Yeah, it's been a pretty consistent stretch, and it's not going to really dip under much here in the next 10 days. There's a little bit of a break here or there, but we're looking at 85, 90 for a decent amount of time here.
I'm going to be the stereotypical middle-aged dad when the rain comes and stare out the window and say, yeah, we needed this. We're about due for some rain.
Fastball away, 2-1. So you're a big grass guy is what you're telling me.
I love well-cooked. You know, I was watching Seinfeld today. Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows of all time, and there's a scene where they're in the cemetery, and Jerry says, you know, I understand why people like golf now. There's something so enjoyable about just being in a well-landscaped area. And I am such a golf fan that I have grown a huge appreciation for grass over the years.
3-1 on Pup now. Both of these two pitchers have gotten behind their hitters. We saw a 4-pitch leadoff walk for Ferry back in the first. It was Luke Fenley who reached. His defense really helped him out after that, including a unusual double play turn. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. Unusual because it was hit to right field, just kind of a pop-up. The second was Luke Fenley. It looked like he had a decent beat on it. But then an excellent relay between Schellenbarger, Paz, and Rivera.
Yeah, you don't see too many 9-4-5 double plays.
Now the 3-2. Maybe over through that one as Pup looks at a walk outside.
I think for both of Evan and Ferry, this first, second, and third innings are going to be kicking off the rust a little bit. It's been a while since we've seen these guys make a start. As we mentioned in the pregame, Devin's only got 4 appearances this year, 3 of them starts. Ferry, he hasn't had a full public game start in a while. So should be interesting to see how they kick off that rust. And maybe that's why we see them falling a little bit behind in these first few batters.
Fastball high to Blake Porter. Well, there you go. Here's our last discussion, and we'll get it after this pitch of the biscuit putting to bed what it is, what it's not. Pup with a modest lead at first. He says a cookie would be a close equivalent. The top biscuit, I believe, is a hobnob or a chocolate digestive. You cannot get say 1-0. Fly ball to left, stroking Davis back to the edge of the warning track. Looks up. The gate dislodges, and it's goal. Gate.
Baseball is something. Imagine if Davis caught that. What a shot. So big for the Hoppers. They focus so much on getting ahead early, having hot starts, and that'll do it.
The opposite way to boot as well. He just ran straight into that gate. And that would have been something if it hung up there long enough for him to make a play at it. But I think it was more of a surprise to Davis that, number one, the gate opened than trying to go and run and try to get that baseball still. Here's Joe Burke now. He's got 4 of those himself thus far. Change up in for strike 1.
Yeah, Burke is quickly cementing himself as one of the best, if not the best hitter in the USPBL. I think Ari Sakopoulos might just statistically have him beat right now, but one of the most disciplined hitters at the plate. And when he hits for power. He's really fun to watch right now.
0-1 slider in for strike 2. Let's check the defense behind Devin today. Brought to you by 3 Dimensional Services Group. It's Davis in left. Castillo in center, Sullivan is in right. Stubbs and Collette on the corners, Fenley and Guzman up the middle with McFadden catching the pitches, as Brendan mentioned earlier as well. Quickly 0-2 on Burke. This is exactly what he was looking to do after the flurry of a start offensively. Line drive up the box, in and out of the glove. Devin stays with it, and Burke is out at first. Boy, we've seen a few of those so far this year.
Yeah, there were. I noticed today a lot of those from the Hoppers in batting practice, from multiple different players, right back at the L screen or just looping around behind it, that are 90% of the time going to be hard hit singles up the middle. And Devin, hey, wake me up, a little bit of a wake up call there. Does a nice job getting his face out of the way and putting his glove in the way, not exactly making the catch, but fielding his position relatively well for that shot coming back at him. And for Joe Burke and the Hoppers, that's just unfortunate that he made such a good play.
Here's Yadi Rivera now. He has a pair of doubles and just 10 at-bats in his pro career thus far. Slider cuts in off the hands. He's kind of ditched the fastball here early on as he saw the action working on the slider the last couple pitches.
Well, we've seen so many hitters in this league sit red dead fastball and a lot of fastball counts like a 1-0 here and just punish some pitchers that leave it in a bad spot.
Broken bat, Fenley with a little looper for out number 2.
That was a good job by Devin there. Put that pitch on the inside. We talked about Yadi last week and how his bat just sounds different with the way his swing is. And it's uncanny how much pop there is off of that bat when he makes that hit.
Also excited to see Noah Marcoux live in a game. I've watched him a few times in batting practice now. I know you've seen him live, but there's a slider by Schellenbarger. But he's a guy that has a very simple swing, and it makes a different sound as well.
It reminds me a lot. It's hard to say because he doesn't have the same build, but it reminds me a lot of Spencer Torkelson, who really just has a simple swing, doesn't try to overcomplicate it.
He's a bit more upper body muscular, if that's the right word.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Marcoux has that kind of hidden power that we're going to see. Schellenbarger up here right now, his power is not hidden at all. But I think we're going to see Marcoux surprisingly stretch out some doubles, maybe take some balls out of the yard this year on really smooth swings that don't look like they're very hard hits. But his swing is just simple and compact and quick.
Here's the 0-2. McFadden can't squeeze, looks to get the put out anyway, as Devin will get credited with his first strikeout here in the first inning. What a turnaround. Leadoff walk on a 3-2 pitch and a home run to the opposite field, carrying the wall, and Davis over there makes it a 2-0 game in favor of the Hoppers.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
There's a look at some of the fine folks who have shown up and chosen the lawn as their parking place here today. Just $6 to get out there. Good spots.
Stronger folks than me. It's got to be hot over there right now.
Maybe bring your sunglasses to start the game, but
I'm picking the third base side if I had my choice right now.
J.D. Stubbs swings through a first pitch fastball there. Took a little bit off at 88. That shadow growing larger now as it's nearly all the way to the pitcher's mound. Ferry still staring straight into the sun, though, as he delivers. What a snappy slider there for strike 2.
Snappy indeed and useful.
Quickly 0-2 on J.D. Stubbs. Direct opposite of the way Carson started in the top of the first, as that one spiked into the dirt. So as you mentioned, Carson has kind of added that slider. And it's tough to tell at times because the curveball sometimes looks like a slider. Sometimes it's a bit more loopy.
Well, as an announcer, a lot of the pitchers in this league that have both don't do us any help having to try to decipher those two.
Pause, scooping that one up for the first down. Maya Bishop-Jones comments on Facebook and says, praying and believing that Travius Ford will be back playing the game he loves so dearly soon. Let's go Beavers, cheering for you in North Carolina. And we hope to see Travius back. It was such a resurgence, if that's the right word, kind of right before he got injured. That rocket of a home run after he had not played in a lot of games to begin the year in the first couple weeks. But that bat turned around, and all of a sudden they really started talking, very proudly about him around the league in terms of the coaching staff, what he might be able to do.
Yeah, he was just so raw when he first got here. Had not played baseball his entire life like a lot of these players, but he was, as Vaughn Joshua talked about, a great listener and an absolute sponge when it came to information and making adjustments and using that information to become a better player.
1-0, flies right to pause for the second out.
So for Ford, it's looking like hopefully next week at the earliest, maybe a week later, but they really want to get him back. This is a Beavers team who is not, they're down to 3-8 now. It's not quite dumpster fire level yet, but they need to win very badly here, and Ford is going to help them do that.
First pitch to Castillo in his professional debut at the plate. Rip back to the screen. That whistle on that jersey, it almost looked like it sticks out.
Like
it
a real
actually,
whistle, yeah. They did a really nice job with those. And as a fan of the show, it is accurate, too. It looks like it does in the show.
Ferry trying to leap for that one, so his pup up the gut, but he loses his glove in the process. Is he hurt out there or just frustrated? It looks like he's hurt.
Well, he sure gave a hell of an effort to get there. I thought that was usually one you let go. We know Pup is never going to let any play get by him without putting up a good effort. We've seen him make some tough plays on some really tough hit balls this year. That one was no different. I don't know if it was a hand and that's why maybe the glove came off or what.
Sometimes when you have a play like that, you kind of tuck it under and then extend it the wrong direction, but unclear exactly what happened there. Ryan Kotke, his co-manager, is out to check. Yeah, just kind of looking at the dive here on our Facebook monitor. It didn't look like the most comfortable dive. Didn't really see that live, though.
His legs didn't quite get that full extension that you would normally expect on a dive. He got a little bit ahead of his body weight, got a little bit past his upper body. He kind of had that half scorpion where the legs kind of kick up as he lands. I think you're certainly right. Just an uncomfortable dive.
Maybe at the minimum, as it looks like they're kind of bringing out some equipment. Maybe he's bleeding because he, kind of skidded the hand across the dirt. He's staying out there, though, so that's a decent sign.
He doesn't look like he's going to come off the field.
Well, as we continue to watch, this might not be over by the time we get back, but we'll try to tell you what we see after this on the USPBL network. Looks like he is bleeding.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
So obviously really can't be actively bleeding on any sort of court field or anything like that, but I think that's all it was for pause, maybe just a little bit shaken up by the skid.
Yeah, I think that face might have hit the dirt, but to your trifecta pitch on Ted Lasso night.
Well, our fine new British fan says here for the Castillo debut, batting 1,000 now. Great start.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number to start your career.
So he has his first professional hit as he stands proudly at first with a short lead with the lefty on the mound with 2 outs. That's off the glove of Hughes. And that's kind of the undervalued or underthought about part of that is I don't believe Ferry even took a warm-up toss in between all that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Delay there. So maybe a case why couldn't command that pitch. He looked pretty good so far here in the second inning compared to the first. Now the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Fastball with some tail. The velo has taken a little bit of a dip, interestingly enough, here in the second inning. Started around 90, 91, and 88, 89 so far here in the second. Sullivan, swing and a miss. Fastball high and away. There's 90. Carson Ferry one more away from getting out of this. Any more damage done. Was able to strand get the runner third, I guess you'd say, in the first after facing just the minimum. That was a leadoff walk as well. Third, that's above the head of Hughes that time.
It's interesting that happens right there on the wild pitch as Castillo's running. That's a conversation I had with Ryan Kotke today pregame, just talking about stolen bases and about catchers throwing guys out. And that's one thing I said I'd like to see more is more catchers get guys caught stealing. We've obviously had a few, but for the most part, if a runner wants to steal a base, they've gotten it. And him and I both kind of agreed and attributed that to, oddly enough, for no rhyme or reason, there seems to be, just by happenstance, wild pitches and passed balls on the pitches that runners go on. A lot of these catchers just haven't had good pitches to throw on this year, and that was another example.
Now the 2-2, hard fastball in on the hands, and Sullivan lays off.
I do like the aggressiveness from Castillo, though, understanding the situation, 2 outs, a lot harder to score from second with just 2 than if there were less, so he knows that, in any situation here, an error, if Sullivan can beat something out in the infield, a tough, flare bloop single he can score on.
3-2, fly ball to left field, chasing Lawler back. He looks up, it's gone! My goodness! Ryan Sullivan turns around in at bat and turns on that pitch as well to left center.
Well, you absolutely said it, Jeremy. Turns around in at bat. He was behind and well behind an 88 and a 90-mile-an-hour fastball in fastball counts that he really shouldn't have been behind on, and he got ahead of that one. He was absolutely ready for it. Again, another fastball count at 3-2, and he punished it. It's about time we saw Ryan Sullivan do that here in a public game. We know he's been hiding that power and gets to showcase it here today. that ball got out in a hurry.
It sure did. And I was about to say, it looks like Sullivan having trouble picking up the ball, and not a surprise with these shadows that we see. And this is kind of the constant in the last couple weeks here. And it's all based on time of year, right? Because things change, and this won't necessarily be the same at the end of the year in a good or a bad way. Don't remember exactly how it turns out, but he swung at that very high pitch. Didn't look like he picked that one up very well. You see the wind that's non-existent here today, which is a surprise as well. McFadden off the end of the bat. And then even on the 92-mile-an-hour fastball, I don't know if he was expecting something else, but he kind of backed off late on it as well. Like he couldn't see it or he wasn't expecting it. But then the very next pitch, he looked like he had seen every one of them very well.
I think he really had seen one too many fastballs in that at-bat, and especially an elevated one. Ferry had already gone up there in the same at-bat, and so he was a little bit more ready for that. The first one that he went up there for above the strike zone, he swung under it, and so I think Sullivan was ready for that elevated fastball that a lot of hitters really like. It's a pitch you can drive when you can get out in front of and pull, and he did exactly that to a T.
Inside 2-2 on McFadden. That looks like the slider, probably. It just had the more sweeping movement to it. Not to say the curveball can't, but it was a bit harder than his normal breaking ball as well. The 2-2 popped him up. Didn't sound great off the bat. Maybe he broke that. Pause out. Schellenberger in as well, as he will make the catch for the third out here in the second inning. Kind of a weird second inning it was. The first two outs recorded by Ferry was pounding the zone, then Pop, I beg your pardon, was down. Second by Castillo, and the two-run bomb by Ryan Sullivan, his fourth of the year.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Sean Lawler, Noah Marcoux, and Whit Hughes, your three due up in the second inning, 6, 7, 8 in the lineup for these Eastside Diamond Hoppers. 2 runs off 2 hits and no errors for the Beavers. 2 runs off 1 hit and no error for the Diamond Hoppers thus far.
As you were mentioning those names, Jeremy, I'm just getting the realization now that this Hoppers lineup is becoming much and much more similar to the Unicorns in that 1 through 9, they look a lot better than I think they did a couple weeks ago, and a lot closer to right now what you kind of have to say is the template in the Unicorns. Only 1 loss through, 12, 13 games now?
1-0 on Lawler. Really good walk to strikeout ratio for him thus far. 13 walks to 9 strikeouts as he looks at a strike on the inner half.
That was bigger recently. I think it was 12-7 at one point, 12-6. It's just so disciplined at the plate, and it's got to be annoying for pitchers to have to face Burke and Lawler pretty close to each other at the 3 and 6 slot.
Stubbs gloves it well. That's for the first out here in the second. Here's the aforementioned Noah Marcoux, designated hitter. And we kind of talked about, balls jumping off the bat of Rivera, and I said the same thing for Marcoux.
Yeah.
Not to knock him in this way. It's not a knock at all, but it's more of how far it goes, I think.
Yeah.
Just looking at his swing.
Because it's like it reminds me of like the Leandy Castro swing we saw at the start of the year. It doesn't look like a ferocious and really hard swing that you expect to get out like that. It's smooth and easy. It looks like a very much batting practice type of swing.
Fastball away to Noah here. One hit so far in his pro career. It's a double. And if his BPs are any indication, we should see a lot more extra base hits throughout the year.
I think that last pitch is when he kind of wanted to recreate some of the BP shots that we've seen. That's a little bit of a hung breaking ball at 79, right around the belt for Marcoux, and I think his eyes got a little too wide, swept right under it.
1-1, swing and a miss. You saw McFadden kind of get the tip off the bat as well. He's still getting used to all those things again.
Yeah, it's not easy. I don't know how he's doing it, and he's had such a great attitude about it, and he's looked surprisingly good back there.
Now the 1-2 popped him up, a lot of room, but Collette and Davis will see that float foul. They played it in the inning break, but big time kudos goes to Jared Koenig, another USPBL arm that has moved on to the major leagues, the third overall, second this year. So that's
and the third different organization as well.
It's true, yeah.
Orioles, Twins, and now the Oakland A's.
Now the 1-2. Pounded on the ground to Fenley, scoops it up, throws to first. That for the second out here in the second inning. Although his time in the USPBL was not that long, just 5 2/3 innings, 4 appearances overall. He had 4 walks to 7 Ks. That was in kind of a wondrous year for him. He played for 4 different teams in 2017. Monterey in the Pecos League to start, and Salina in the American Association, San Rafael in the Pacific League, and the USPBL as well.
I saw that in an interview with an NBC sports crew talking about all the different places that he's been. He had a wild journey to get there, but it's not about necessarily the journey, but where you end up, and he got to the spot, the place to be.
He got picked up in 2021. Unfortunately for him, did not pitch in 2020, but a lot of players and batters did not do much in 2020.
A lot of us didn't.
In on the hands. Collette scoops it up, fires to first. A 1-2-3 inning here in the second. We can talk about that a little bit more when we get back. The home runs, the story thus far. There's been 2 of them, 1 on each side, and we're leveled at 2s.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Nine 1-2 due up for the Beavers here against Carson Ferry. Ferry in the first faced the minimum after the leadoff walk. Got some nice merits from his defense as well. A 9-4-5. I have that right? 9-4-5 double play.
Yeah.
Which you don't hear very often.
We've seen some interesting. We ended a game in extras on a 4-2-3-2 double play over the weekend. So, yeah, no shortage of interesting double plays in the USPBL.
It's Cam Collette, Luke Fenley, and Chris Davis. Your three due up here in the third inning. That's 9-1-2. Then the second, kind of inverse that and got the first two outs. Then there was the delay, which you can't chop it all up to the delay, but I think it did affect Carson a little bit, at least on the first two pitches.
Yeah, and you're right. You can't chop it all up on the delay. You have to still come back and attack hitters, especially Sullivan, who is a dangerous hitter at all times, but we know that he's been not quite living up to expectations that he and everybody else have set for him, and that's a reason to attack him and make him hit a good pitch, and four fastballs and one at bat is not quite that.
Now the 2-0. Chased a high pitch and fouled it off. Sounds like a fan gave that ball up maybe to little kid. You can just kind of understand what's happened without seeing it sometimes by the way the cheers come in.
Yeah.
2-1, pulled back in for strike two.
Well, I don't know if our mics picked that up, but I think the fans near us didn't like that one. I thought that was a pretty good pitch by Ferry. A little backdoor curveball right on the edge.
The 2-2. Off the end of the bat and foul. Kind of continuing that conversation on Jared Koenig as well. So pitched for 4 different independents in 2017, then stuck around with one in 2018, San Rafael out of the Pacific League, and pitched for Auckland overseas in 19 and 20. Back in the States. So I guess he did. Well, this is confusing, Baseball Reference. It doesn't normally do this. It says year 2019-20, he was in Auckland. But either way, he got picked up by Midland, the AA affiliate for Oakland in 2021. Now the 2-2 slider in. 3-2 on Collette. Did pretty well there. Got a call up at the beginning of this year. Went to AAA Las Vegas. And got called up and has made his third appearance. All of them starts. Just the other day made his most recent start. 3 2/3 innings for the Oakland A's thus far. 90-mile-an-hour fastball outside. And now that's the second walk issued by Ferry here today.
Boy, some contentious pitches in that at bat. There was that one, that backdoor curve that many fans thought was ball 3 and I thought was strike 2. And then on that last one, boy, I thought that was a well-placed fastball low and away in a full count. Ferry didn't get the call.
Straightens up Fenley here. Fenley with a walk back in the first inning. Slight breeze is picked up according to the pennants and left, but the American flag in right center, or more dead on center, is not moving. Fastball low, 2-0 on Luke now. Jeremy Otto alongside Brendan Shabat to bring you the call here tonight. So glad you could tune in on Facebook and YouTube. Had some good audience participation so far here today. We thank you all for chiming in and tuning in. Short lead again for Colette. The 2-0 ripped foul.
Fun play that we've seen this year. Again, early for him. Hasn't had too many at-bats, but he's been referred to by a lot of people, and just from what we've seen, as just a gamer, a really competitive kid. And that's what you like to see out of a lot of ball players. It seems to be a common trait amongst middle infielders for some reason, particularly shortstops. He's over at second today, but he started as a shortstop. But he is just really competitive, loves to play the game, plays it the right way, comes up clutch in some spots. We've seen that already. Just have enjoyed what I've seen through a couple games.
Ferry steps off. Shakes off on the first sign to Hughes, likes the second. Here's the 2-2. Best fastball today at 93 high.
I think stolen bases can be an indication of someone like that I mentioned, a gamer. Fenley went 54 stolen bases, caught stealing 7 times in college.
Off on the pitch, he went back, went again, and in the end just ends up at second base because of the free pass. Now Chris Davis get an opportunity, still looking for his first hit, 0 for 13. Does have a pair of walks and 4 Ks.
Yeah, that's the thing for Davis, only four strikeouts, has worked a couple walks. He's making solid contact. You see the ability is there. He's had quite a few flyouts to the outfield that have just been perfectly placed for the outfielders. Just got to find the gaps. And that's about taking what you're given from the pitcher, as Von Joshua talks about so much, hitting the ball where it's pitched, pulling that inside pitch and hitting the opposite way, the outside one.
Good rip at the fastball there, pounds it back to the screen. 1-1. Third inning brought to you by Chevrolet. We thank Chevrolet for their partnership with the USPBL network.
Yeah, fastball straight back is always a good indication of timing. Just got to square it up more.
Now the 1-1 bounced away from Hughes. It's going to advance Collette to third, Fenley to second, and there is still yet to be an out recorded here in the third.
Just hasn't been the day for Ferry through 2 innings so far. We've seen him come back from struggles like this in the same game before, so his night is certainly not over.
3-1 through the 5-hole there. Bounce right back to him, though. Wow, you don't often see bounces like that here.
No.
And in general, you know, obviously the backstop is large when it comes to your left or your right as a catcher, but not too big when it goes straight back, unless it kind of juts to that direction. It can be tricky to play.
Yeah, I mean, you see those pads back there. Those are pretty deadening pads. That's the purpose of them. But I think that last one just was so far on the ground that it just bounced straight off the brick.
3-1, swing and a miss. So you see just that little
strip of it, yeah.
Yeah, the one brick space on the top and maybe the half on the bottom.
About a base is opening.
Whoever was sitting right there probably got a little bit of a heart skip.
Yep.
Now the 3-2 off the end of the bat, sailing in foul territory. Rivera into the shadows for out number 1.
Well, Ferry does a nice job battling back in that at bat. Getting that swing and miss from Davis for strike 2 was very important because he has to be so much more defensive on the payoff pitch. And I think that last one was probably ball 4 if he lets it go. But runners in scoring position, nobody out. You really don't want to strike out here. That's exactly what Ferry wants. You have to widen up the zone a little bit, and you can't blame him for swinging at a pitch like that, too. That was a good pitch from Ferry.
Here's Eric Whitfield. This one popped in the air to right. Schellenbarger going over towards the line. Dropped it! Getting ready to tag and relenting. Maybe what happened there is Cameron Collette. Obviously, I don't know. Do you want the run or do you want the out? I mean, both are valuable in a game like this. I don't think we're done scoring runs from what we've seen so far today. So maybe you want that out.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I feel like Schellenbarger, we've seen outfielders be really good this year. Schellenbarger had a nice throw over the weekend.
Not a guarantee he scores.
No. Yeah, no. I think it's 50-50. I'd take my chances with a good hitter. Whitfield just seeing another pitch, really.
0-1, slider, middle of the plate, or maybe the curveball there, pounded low. Corner infielders are in. That's Rivera at third and Burke at first. Porter in center field plays to the right of the second base bag. Kind of medium depth out there. Schellenbarger on right trying to shield the sun. Now the 1-1. 91 away. 2-1 on Eric Whitfield.
With Pup and Paz, our two P's up the middle, they've got a pretty big gap there. Right back at Ferry is wide open for Whitfield here for a base hit.
The 2-1. The glove, runner coming home, nobody there. Ferry not maybe, Collette would. He did, and he scores the untied in the top of the third.
Well, no surprise. Base running by been ready to go ever since he got on base with the walk to start things off in this inning. Was ready to tag a ball. So I think if you're Ferry, you got to know the situation. Anything close, you have to just cover just to be safe. There's no harm in doing that.
Corners are still in. The 3-1. That runner on third base as well as Fenley. That's the fourth walk. Carson has struggled with walks a bit more as the year has gone on. 5 walks to 12 strikeouts coming into play today.
Yeah, rate of
Or check that, that's way off. 14, what did I just say? 14 walks to 20 strikeouts, kind of in the same, ratio, but.
And a rate just over 7.5 per 9. League average in the MLB is around 4, and that's typically where you want to be as a pitcher, and at least 1 K per 9. He's certainly got that at 11 strikeouts per 9 right now, but you want to see that walk rate really drop down, and we haven't quite seen him have a big where he's only walked 1 or 2 guys.
1-1 here in J.D. Stubbs. He grounded out back in the second. That was to Paul at second. They've kind of closed that hole with Pup moving over a bit more with this lefty at the plate. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss.
Stubbs liked what he saw there. Was ready to pounce on that elevated fastball. It was a good idea. He was just a little out in front.
55 pitches for Ferry now through 2 innings of work. This draw longest thus far. Now the 1-2. Good block by Hughes. Feeds to second. Runner will stay at third. Got him at second base. Boy, with the kind of late break in between whether he should throw or not. Not sure that I thought he'd get him, but a good tag by Pup. And a throw that was in front of the bag. And that's the second out. A huge one here in the third.
Yeah, I think when I saw Whit Hughes get that ball, I knew he had enough time. It was just about if he could make a good enough throw. He's probably got one of the best arms behind the dish in the USPBL. just behind Matt Parkinson and put it on display right there. Really nice throw and a good location, too, with some pace on it, exactly what you need.
2-2, fly ball to right. Schellenbarger started to his right, then to his left. He'll make the catch for the third out.
There you see it. That throw from Hughes saves a run.
One does come in, 3-2 Beavers here on the USP Network. That's your fifth third out. Bank, fifth third out of the game is what I wanted to say there. That can be a tongue twister at times. Time now for JJ, the field general presented by Michigan First Credit Union here today. Little water out to your base pass umpire. Also have your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascot here coming up. You see him entering from the gate out in right field. There's JJ. It's Giovanni today who will race Ribby from first to home. So Giovanni looks ready to go. Look, he's stretching out there.
Yeah, Ribby.
He's a Hoppers fan, too. Look,
yeah.
He salutes the crowd. All right, my man.
Ribby better get ready.
Look at the ready stance for Giovanni. Now he's going to try to keep pace with Ribby at first, but then breaks away. A hot day like this, he doesn't have a great track.
No, none of the mascots.
Giovanni down the third base line. Kotke says, go. Plates. He's your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascot winner here today. Walker Paws, Alex Pup, and Blake Porter, your three men due up here in the third inning. Nice inning for Devin, kind of a bounce back in the second. It was all contact. 3 ground balls in a row after the 2-run home run by Blake Porter that went the opposite way in the first. So he will look for a much quicker inning than what we just saw. Carson Ferry facing just 5 batters in the end, but he did walk 3. Gave up 1 off the pass ball where nobody was covering home plate. It would have been at least a close play.
Yeah, like we said, Collette was aggressive. The signs were there that he was going to try to go.
First pitch to Pause. Swing and a miss on the fastball.
I think I lost my shoes, how hard Pause swung at that one. Liked what he saw. Got to time it up a little bit better.
Now the 0-1.
There it is.
Good rip again and fouled back. Oh-2 got him to pop up. McFadden's like, where was it? I didn't quite track it, but that's maybe partly because it's out of the stadium the way people are looking at it. They're like, is that coming down?
Yeah,
coming back down here?
Some of them just look weird off the bat where they're well out of play, but you don't think they're going to be, and especially with so much room in foul territory, it's understandable to kind of get a little misconstrued.
0-2 in on the hands as Collette, or as Paz collapsed on the inside corner there. 1-2. That hit him. Similar action, similar pitch, further inside, and Walker not feeling all too great after that one.
No pun intended, but he at least hopped up with some life. I think that probably caught the funny bone area of the elbow, it looked like, right in between the muscles, that if you hit your pencil on, it is not comfortable, let alone a baseball at 80 plus miles an hour. breaking ball or no, that's still not going to be comfortable. It's a good at-bat from Paz, though. I mean, he was behind 0-2, but he was on top of both fastballs that he saw from Devin. And I think Devin and McFadden knew they couldn't throw him another. He was going to make them pay for it, and so they had to go with back-to-back breaking balls. They didn't quite get the first one on the inside, and then the second one obviously was just too close. That's the advantage of still making contact. A lot of fans don't notice how important a foul ball can be, but if it's right back to the screen and it's on a fastball, you know the guy's got it timed up well. The only other direction it can go if he does that again is straight.
Pup looking to maybe sneak a bunt in. Took it back for a ball.
Yeah,
1-0.
86 is not the best. You want something that's a little bit more in the low 80s, that curve or slider that you can just try to catch on the barrel of the bat and just drop down.
Tipped in. The fastball there from Pup. Came into today's game. Actually, it'll stay that way because it's just a walk in his first at-bat, but 3-0-4.
See if Paz tries to go here. Benefited the Beavers to steal bases in the last inning. He's 2 for 2 this year.
Now the 1-1. Slider away, 2-1 on Pup.
I think probably not here in a fastball count, but McFadden has a good arm behind the plate, but he's inexperienced at throwing runners out, and I think might and probably should try to exploit that.
Runner moving to second. McFadden feeds into center field. It flies.
Oh.
Pause to third base. Boy, some drop balls, some errant balls have been the story so far in this game.
Yeah, well, we saw it there. It was a fastball at 85 from Devin, and that's exactly why the Hoppers are going to go on that. McFadden doesn't have a terrible throw. It gets there about a half second late, a quarter of a second, but it's also a little bit up the line to the first base side, and that's a tough play for Fenley to catch, and it goes out into center, and then Castillo couldn't quite get a grip on it, and now you see it. You steal one base, and you get an extra.
The 3-1. Fastball that slips maybe outside. So a hit by pitch and a walk, but the hit by pitch already standing on third base with still no outs here in the third inning. Starting to feel a bit like yesterday's game in the non-public. Just a 3-2 score on the final, but took quite a bit to get to the fifth inning even.
Yeah, that's the advantage of stealing bases, though. That aggressiveness can really pay off for your team in the end. It's like you hit a leadoff triple, and all you did was really take a baseball on the elbow to get down to first.
That was Orth starting to get up. Or check that. That's the wrong 23. That would be the 23 of the Hoppers. That would be Zach Blankenship. We heard should be probably the first man in the bullpen, regardless of what Devin finishes with this game. Now the 1-0. Popped him up foul.
See, that's another good example. That one to me looked like it was going to be over in the dugout, maybe just barely sneak into the first row. That was easily and quickly out of play. Deceiving here at Jimmy John's.
The 1-1 runner moving to second. Chopped on the ground. Stubbs going to fake out. They won't get the runner at first.
Wow.
Boy, that tag was a bit closer than I originally thought, but regardless, not a picture-perfect start to this inning for the Beavers after taking the lead.
Yeah, I think Devin might hit him at first. Aggressiveness for the Hoppers. Pause takes a big jump at third, which causes Stubbs to hesitate for a second and have to make a decision. And while all of that is happening, Porter's running down there to first, hauling so he can try to beat out the play, and he does. Yeah, I think he was safe looking at the replay on YouTube. And now, essentially the worst situation you can have if you're the Beavers, nobody out and bases loaded for Joe Burke.
So they give that a hit on the board, but I believe that should be a fielder's choice given the scenario. Kind of an odd scenario to boot, but
yeah, I think that probably really is what that is. Porter, I mean, I think 9 times out of 10, Porter's out there in almost any situation.
corners are in. Stubbs does play behind Porter here as Joe Burke swings and fouls that one off.
I think Stubbs probably had enough time to quickly step on the bag first and then try to go home, even if pause was still going to go. It's just really hard to make that decision in that split second.
Burke back in the first inning, grounded out to the pitcher. Now the 0-1. Change-up foul. 0-2 on Joe Burke.
Well, it's back-to-back breaking balls from Devin. I think they're scared to give Burke a fastball if they don't absolutely have to, and that's understandable. But the bases loaded, this 0-2 count can quickly turn in favor of Burke if you nibble.
Fastball away. And looking at this lineup now, I mean, you have Burke 3, Rivera 4, Schellenbarger 5, Marcoux all the way down at 7. I mean, that's I guess you'd say unproven power potential for some of those guys. I mean, Burke.
It doesn't feel that way, though, you know.
No, I think it can definitely shape into something really nice. As this one popped to right, Sullivan loses the headpiece there, and it bangs into the wall. Only unproven because Rivera has had 11 at-bats here in Pro Ball. Schellenbarger has had 14, although we've seen his power come out recently with 3 extra base hits. And Marcoux has only had 8 at-bats. So that's the only reason why it's unproven. They've shown it in college. Marcoux had some nice power numbers. I think 3 out of 5 years? And you can kind of throw away the COVID years, so make it 3 out of 4 where he had double-digit home runs with a high of 14 back in 21.
I mean, a career 1,000-plus OPS is always a good sign, no matter what level of baseball you're playing at.
2-2 on Burke. He has 4 bombs himself here. Boy, would the Hoppers just love to hit a grand slam.
Yeah, but I think to your point, Jeremy, like we talked about earlier, the new faces quickly are no longer new. That can happen with these guys who are unproven. We might see in a week that we're like, yep, yeah, we were right. These guys can really hit the ball well, you know. A lot of games this week for the They've got a busy schedule. I think they've got 4-day weeks for the next 2 weeks, so 8 games in 14 days, or 8 days of baseball. Some of those are doubleheaders in 14 days. It's quite a bit. That'll boost your at-bat totals for a newbie.
Stuck on the 2-2 count with no outs. Here it comes again. Make it a full count now. We're talking with Ryan Conkey. I think it was last week when some of the new guys started to filter in from the showcase 2 Sundays ago. But he's like, hey, you know, I'm also looking at where these guys hit in college because we don't have a lot of time to spend talking with them at times when they jump right in. Here's the 3-2. Pulled to, or hit the opposite way to right. Sullivan is in. He will hose it out right to McFadden. And for good reason, Paz remains at third.
And a little strut from Sullivan after that one. Good battle between Burke and Devin. Nice throw from Sullivan to hold the runner.
So to kind of continue that point as well, he's looking at, you know, where did this guy hit in college? And for some, it's a little bit harder to track if they've played for an NAI school that maybe doesn't have the, you know, most accurate of stats. A lot do, but there's a few guys in the league where they're like, where did this guy play? Where did the recap show that he was in? As Rivera steps back to the plate, he popped out back to Fenley in the first.
Right, and one thing I've heard a lot as far as
Rivera launches one to right. Sullivan jogging back. It's gone! Grand slam here in the third for the Hoppers.
I think he's proven himself, Jeremy. One pitch, we talked about the pop, and that looked just like batting practice that we saw today and we've seen through the first few games for Yadi Rivera. A different sound, a different swing, and whoosh, that ball's gone.
Already his third extra base hit in a pro uniform, and we're already just talking about 12 at-bats after that one right there. And a much different feel to this game here in the third. 6-3 Diamond Hoppers.
Not only a different feel because the scoreboard is obviously from a one-run deficit to a 3-run lead, but that severely changes the momentum, and the Hoppers have been so good at that this year. We saw it all weekend last weekend against the Unicorns in those dogfights of high-scoring games. But every time another team scores, the Hoppers can respond and retake the lead or tie the game up. They did it countless times against Utica last week, and they have already done it here again today, and we've got so much baseball left.
1-1 on Schellenbarger. There's actually no action. Not sure if Blankenship got to throwing or not down there. All attention was kind of paid to the bases loaded several times there in the third. Now the 1-1 sees the slider dive in. And I guess this is what happens when you try to get to longer points when the bases are loaded. But
yeah.
Going back again to what we were talking about, he's looking to see where did guys hit on top of making their professional debut. In a lot of cases, just coming over from a college season in a number of cases for these guys as well. He doesn't want to throw them into the leadoff spot or the 3 or 4 spot and put extra pressure if they're not necessarily comfortable with it.
Right. And another thing, as before I was so rudely interrupted by Yadi, is what I've heard from Vaughn, too, is, college teams play in 3-game series, and usually they've got that ace going. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Usually they've got their better 2 pitchers, obviously, on Friday and Saturday.
3-1 shot to Stubbs. He booted it. That's into right field. Watch Schellenbarger run now. They do get to it, and a good throw. Ooh, that was close.
Wow.
At second base. Surrounding tag by Guzman as well. See on this initial look. That was bang at second base.
That was real close by Schellenbarger. We'll see if the aggressive base running pays off again. We've seen that happen a couple times this year. Balls, we saw one booted off Joe Burke go to that shallow right field foul area after starting in fair play, and runners taking 2 bags on those because it's so much time and so much ground for the right fielder to cover.
So this is the 7th man to the plate, which already matches what we saw in the top half. On the surface, just from a feel standpoint, you say, we're probably even by now, but that wasn't the case. Just all the walks maybe that made it feel like that. 1-0, popped him up to left. Davis got a lot of ground to cover. It's in foul ground. He makes the catch for out number 2.
Almost covered too much ground there. It looked like he was going to have to make a sprawling or diving play at first, but he got on his horse, had a good beat on it, read it well right off the bat, and had more than enough space, actually. Should I try to go back and make my point now?
You can try, but we'll probably have an out.
I don't know. We'll probably have something, a parachuter will land on the field or whatever.
I don't even know what your point was at this point.
Well, we were talking about the college players and how you scout a college guy on stats. And look at what he does on Friday and Saturday against the better pitchers of his opponents. Don't just look at the overall. Don't just look at the season whole numbers. Go game by game and see how he did on Fridays and Saturdays. How many doubles are out there? How many RBIs?
Marcoux will, in fact, land this one into the glove of Guzman if it ever comes down. And it does for out number 3. What an adventure of a third inning overall. The Beavers score a run. It could have been more. The Hoppers hit a grand slam. The first professional home run for Yanni Rivera is a big splash. When we get back, Brendan will take over on the play-by-play here on the USPBL Network.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the 9th, and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. Our founders were forged from tough times. People that believed that maybe, just maybe, if people helped people, we could all rise up together. For 80 years, that's what we've done. While we can't tell you what's going to happen, we can tell you we are going to make it through this together. And when the dust settles, we'll still be here. Just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Despite some early game struggles, Carson Ferry is out there for inning number 4 with a 3-run lead for his Hopper squad after a big 4-run third inning for his team. He'll step out there for the top of the 4th. It'll be Wellington Guzman, Marcos Castillo, and Ryan Sullivan. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Beavers. Ferry's timing just hasn't quite been there through the first 3 innings for this team, especially on his breaking ball. You can even see it on that warm-up pitch there. That one was in the dirt, and he just had a little bit of a head shake. Not sure how much longer he's going to stay out there. As we mentioned, you can see the bullpen there. Nobody warming up yet. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, scouts in attendance today. It's to our understanding that Carson doesn't have that knowledge. But maybe Ryan Kotke and John Dombrowski do and want to give him a chance to redeem himself. It's 6-3 Hoppers after 3 here on the USPBL Network. 4th inning brought to you by Dunham Sports. First pitch to Guzman is a fastball in there at 87, bottom of the zone for strike 1. Guzman in his first professional game, a newcomer to the USPBL, 2 seasons at Winston-Salem State and 3 at UNC Pembroke in North Carolina. Waves at strike 2. Before joining the USPBL, most recently hit a average of .263 with a .937 OPS. 15 home runs last year at UNC Pembroke, almost 50 RBIs. Did have a lot of swing and miss in the bat, 77 Ks to just 22 walks. 0-2 is high. First ball to Guzman. Lined out to second, his first time up in the second inning. He's playing over at shortstop defensively. Hasn't seen a lot of action at short for the Beavers through the first 3 innings today, but looked good in warm-ups. Is just a very athletic player, and that pitch hit him. Ferry stung him on what looked like the left foot where that brace is, so a good spot to get hit if you're Guzman. But in the 1-2 count, it's another hit by pitch. The second one we've seen today. First for Ferry, and a leadoff runner for the Beavers. Brings up another rookie in his first start, Marcos Castillo. Guzman with a moderate lead at first. Lefty-righty matchup to Castillo backed him off the plate. Ball 1. Castillo is a guy who racked up the accolades in 5 seasons at Coppin State before joining the USPBL. HBCU Freshman of the Year in 2018. The ball 1 to Castillo is in on the feet and misses for ball 2. He was also 2022 first team All-MEAC most recently. Holds the school record at Coppin State with 15 total triples. 5th in RBIs and stolen bases at 99 and 44 respectively. 2 balls and no strikes make it 3 on Marcos Castillo. Ten home runs Almost 100 RBIs in his college career. Hit for a lot of power, a lot of doubles, and obviously, as we mentioned, triples in this bat. Something Vaughn Joshua looks for as the 3-0 Castillo taking all the way, fastball 3-1. And something Vaughn Joshua talked about that he looks for a lot for college guys. You know, with the aluminum bat, it's hard to scout statistically some players. Look for the guys that hit a lot of doubles and triples. That means they're getting balls to a lot of gaps, and that translates well to the professional and wood bat level as Castillo, after Guzman is hit by the pitch, works a walk and back-to-back base runners without getting a hit for the Beavers. After they give up a 4-run third, they're threatening here in the top of the fourth. That's the 5th walk today for Ferry as Hughes wants to go out there and discuss things. Now there seems to be some action in the Beavers' pen. We've expected Derek Eddington to be the first out. It looks like him from up here. Eddington stands at 6'8", 218, kind of hard to mistake. From all the way up here, that looks like who it is. So now Ryan Sullivan, who's already homered once today. Thought about it on that elevated fastball. That was the home run pitch for him the first time up. Didn't swing, let it go for ball 1.
You mentioned kind of the wood bat, or the metal bat to the wood bat. Kind of a bigger adjustment than some crack out to be. And
yeah,
here in independent ball, I guess it's glorified a bit more because you see a lot of guys going straight from college.
Big cut there for Sullivan, misses. 1-1.
But I, kind of thought about it. Obviously, you see some guys. The Michigan High School Baseball All-Star Game was the other day on Monday. I had a chance to call that, and it is kind of weird to see anybody hit in a professional stadium, in a major league stadium, to about it, Comerica Park with a metal bat. But they're still high schoolers, so you see them obviously playing a lot further in than we're used to.
Tipped back for Sullivan, strike 2.
But just imagine, I don't think there could be fans in the stands because probably somebody could get really seriously injured, especially in the outfield. All the netting these days maybe, but just see a major league guy or two take a swing in a pro stadium like that with a metal bat and just see how far it goes.
Oh, yeah. I think
and the sound it would make.
Right. And I don't think people realize. Obviously, a lot of these athletes are so strong. The 1-2 to Sullivan, checked his swing. Did he go? No appeal to the field umpire, so they say he didn't. 2-2. But a lot of people don't realize. Obviously, these are athletes. They're trained. They eat well. They exercise. They're strong. But a wood bat is significantly heavier than an aluminum bat, and it's a much different thing to swing. Even though it's still a bat, still got the same shape, the same balance. It's very different with the weight. The 2-2 misses low. Full count again. We've seen a lot of those for Ferry today.
It's been a significant amount of deadening that's happened with those metal bats over the years as well in the last 10 or so years, really taking a closer look at, what is the metrics that come off it. What's the exit velos? How hard is it hit? Is it even catchable in some instances if you're that good of a hitter?
Some guys just really rip with those things. 2 on, nobody out. The payoff pitch to Sullivan is right to Pup. The throwback to second. Did he catch that on the ground? And that's just going to be a standard double play now over to third. And no, Wellington Guzman is there in time. I thought maybe Pup caught that in the air at first. Instead, it's just a 6-4-3 double play. Good heads up by Paws and Burke to be ready. And good base running by Guzman to kind of stay out of the line of fire and move over to third without getting out.
Well, I had kind of 2 initial reactions to that one. The first initial reaction was, wow, that's going to be a tough play just because of how, it's floating and cutting down. Is he going to try to catch it in the air? Is he going to try to let it short hop, meet it quickly? And they're like, wow, he caught that ball.
Yeah.
And now maybe a chance for a triple play, but an interesting play all the way around.
I like the awareness from Paws just to no matter what. I don't know if he could hear or see the call. I didn't live right away as soon as Pup caught it. And obviously, if he does catch that in the air, his first reaction is to just throw to second, try to get that out there. But a good job by Paws to throw to first regardless to get 2, whether it was caught in the air or not. As Dakota McFadden, who's 0 for 1 today, flew out to right his first time up, looks at ball 1. 2-0 on McFadden now. We're celebrating Ted Lasso night, and that is not what Dakota McFadden really looks like. Those are the fake aviators and mustache. And I tell you, just those are photoshopped on every player that goes up on the board today, and it's pretty accurate. They look good. Maybe you think some of these players will see this and think, hey, I would look good with a mustache. Are we going to see some mustaches grown out of the Photoshop from today?
Depends if they have a significant other or not.
That is a huge factor for a lot of these players, whether they're going to do it. The 2-0 is back up the middle, charging is Pup, fielding, throwing. And Pup has a busy inning, but they get out of the jam. Starts with 2 on, nobody out, a double play and a ground out. Means 3 outs for the Hoppers, and nobody comes across. The Hoppers still lead at 6-3 as we head to the bottom of the 4th on the USPBL Network.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
And Zach Devin's day is done. Now takes over the other Zach, Zach Blankenship. Devin finishes with 3 innings, 3 hits, 6 runs off those. That's thanks in large part to Yadi Rivera with the 4 RBI grand slam, 2 walks and a strikeout. And that will bring up Zach Blankenship, the lefty from Fleming Island, Florida. It's his turn. Has a fastball, slider, splitter, and changeup. 5 appearances this year and 10 1/3 innings of work. 6.1 ERA, 5 walks to 10.
Didn't Ivy deny a tryout with or a workout with the Kings? Or is
I
that a
think so.
different guy?
I think Ivy was pretty set on the Pistons and maybe one other team. It sounds, all year leading up to the draft, the Pistons were focused on guys like Jabari Smith and Chet Holmgren. They were in the bottom 3 of the NBA all season, and then lucked out in the NBA draft with the 5th pick, that's no strange thing for a Detroit sports fan in any draft lottery. The Red Wings took the 8th pick most recently this year when they were, I believe, in the top 4, or bottom 4, you should say, of the NHL. McFadden is still down here. But yeah, after the focus with the 5th pick shifted from guys like Smith and Holmgren, Ivy quickly became the favorite out of Purdue. He grew up in Detroit for a little bit. His mom played for the Detroit Shock for a while before they no longer were a franchise. So it appears McFadden's okay after that first pitch. Struck him near the neck. The second pitch from Blankenship. Ooh, good pitch. Called ball 1.
McFadden holding it there for an extra beak as well, trying to draw that call.
Looked like a good pitch from up here. Hughes has done well lately for the Hoppers. Talked to Ryan Kotke about him. Good to see him get his bat going. spoils that one, 1-2. Kind of started slow with someone you could be worried about, maybe a mainly defensive catcher, but now through 7 games, 6 for 22, 4 RBIs, had a couple doubles over the weekend. Still working on seeing the ball a little bit better. Hasn't worked a walk yet, but the bat is picking up for Whit Hughes. Thought about going, didn't. Fastball elevated 92. Good velocity from Blankenship.
Certainly a lot to process as well. Just, him going through all these new guys that have come in on his pitching staff. Then to adjust to, pro to college catching where he's now calling all those pitches different.
2-2 skied out to center. Ranging over is Castillo, a little bit to his left, and an easy fly out to center for out number 1. Brings up the 9-hole hitter Walker Pause, waiting on deck. The leadoff man, Alex Pupp. Blankenship, an alumnus of Valdosta State. In his college career, almost 40 appearances, 29 of them starts. So we've seen him start a little bit here. We haven't seen him start in the USPBL. Check that. He's made 5 appearances, all in relief. So we saw him start a little bit in college. But some relief. Almost 160 innings pitched. Good walk to strikeout ratio, 51 walks, 150 Ks in college. First pitch to Pause is fouled back. Pause seems to be on top of the fastball today. That's the 3rd one we've seen from him go straight back to the screen or over.
Yeah, certainly anxious to hit. Unfortunately for him, got hit by a pretty tough pitch.
That was because he worked a good at-bat. Now the 0-1. Curveball misses above and right of the zone at 78, 1-1.
The pick is in.
There's going to be some outrage if this isn't Jaden Ivey, Jeremy, I'm telling you. There's some fans that like Shaden Sharp out of Kentucky, but he didn't play for them this last year. 1-1 to Pause. Misses high, 2-1. A lot of news to be broken in the coming weeks in Detroit. Lions training camp underway. The NHL draft looms upon us. The 2-1 outside. 3 balls and a strike. One down, nobody on for Walker Pause. The 3-1. Outside. No. Crosses the plate for Blankenship. He works the count full. And ladies and gentlemen, breaking news from the NBA draft. The Pistons have selected Jaden Ivey with the 5th pick. He'll be paired in the backcourt with Cade Cunningham. And for any basketball fans, that's a very good sign for the future of the Detroit Pistons. Fouled back by Pause, a long at bat going. I think he's gonna pair well with Cade Cunningham. Ivey, very explosive, athletic guard. He'll play some good defense. Be a 3-and-D type, but a little bit better than that. He's gonna bring more, I think, on both sides of the ball.
If all those reports were true too, I mean, you want a guy that wants to be here.
Yeah, I think he's really excited. We can see we're watching it on our statistician Daniel's laptop here. He looks happy. Swing and a miss from Pause. Out number 2 goes down by a K. Blankenship's first.
Yeah, really haven't had many Ks all around the board here today. Only the 2nd overall for this Beavers coaching staff or pitching staff, and Ferry did not have one in his 4 innings of work.
Ivey. For now the Pistons, a guy I was fortunate enough to see play against Michigan State in person twice, once in the Big Ten tournament, once in the regular season. I tell you, if you think he's fast on TV, he is double that in person. Watching him move is unreal. I don't know how defenders do it. And I don't know how they're going to do it in the NBA either.
And the pacing, what Dwayne Casey's tried to, kind of establish here too, that works well with that.
With a young core like that, it's easy to get up and down the floor, and it's hard to defend against. Pistons, one of the youngest teams in the league. Pup facing a 1-0, looks at a called strike one.
And for a fan base, you're looking to kind of reel back in. I mean, they're still out there. I mean, they're just waiting for basketball to be really competitive again here on the professional side. But they'll like to see that too, I would think.
The Pistons have done well in the last 3 drafts, really getting players that fans not only like on the court, but as people off the court. This one's a high bouncer over to Collette, and he'll easily field and fire to first for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for the first inning for Zach Blankenship. We head to the top half of the 5th. 6-3 Hoppers on the USPBL network.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Get great seats, safer, simpler, and smarter with TicketSmarter. Choose great seats from over 125,000 live events, all backed with a TicketSmarter 100% ticket guarantee. Get your tickets smarter at TicketSmarter.com.
So as we kind of thought about, Carson Ferry's day is done, and now it's time for Derek Eddington. Ferry finishes with only 2 hits given up, but 3 runs come across on 5 strikeouts in just 4 innings. Not his best day that we've seen, Jeremy, but also it ends with, like we said, only 2 hits and 3 runs. So Eddington is a newcomer that we haven't seen a lot of. Only 1 appearance in the USPBL, 4 innings, a couple hits, no runs, none earned, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. That hikes his early strikeouts per 9 at 13.5. Eddington, as we mentioned, 6'8", one of the tallest players in the league. What's with the Hoppers and the tall guys, too? They've got Wazinski, who stands at 6'8" as well. He'll start one of the doubleheader games, the first one on Saturday against the Unicorns. They just like to intimidate. Drummond 6'4", DeSanti 6'5", Ferry, he's at least 6'2". They intimidate with their height on the pitching staff.
Doesn't make it any easier for these guys coming out of the pen for the batters. Either Eddington, though, an intriguing piece because he's able to be stretched out coming from college this year at Davenport as well. He was a starter there. Same with Harry Orr. So they have some options if there is some movement in a positive direction in terms of guys getting picked up, which is a possibility we've been tracking for really since the beginning of the season for this Hoppers team.
Collette takes a called strike 1 here in the top of the 5th to start things off for Derek Eddington. As you mentioned, the 2 seasons at Davenport, 100 innings pitched for him. Second pitch in there, strike 2, good velocity, 92 miles an hour. 4-seam curveball and splitter for the 6'8" Giant on the bump. He's part of the GLIAC all-academic team in this last year before joining the USPBL. 0-2 skied foul on the right side from Collette.
It's just easy gas as well. Not a lot of moving parts in this delivery. Just rears back, gets the leg kick moving, and fires 92 at you.
Kind of a dream for Shane McCaddy and Mitch Aker, don't you think? And not much they have to do. They have a lot to work with, but not much to work on. 0-2 again. Close one, missed it outside, first ball.
And I think the ideal situation for those guys, just refining. You know, that's something the delivery value system can do. Maybe it gets you a couple more miles an hour on the fastball, or makes that breaking ball sharper.
Swing and a miss. Cameron Collette goes down on a strikeout to start things off. The 7th one for Derek Eddington.
We haven't talked a lot about these two newer guys for the Hoppers with Shane and the pitching staff here. And part of the reason why is, look, they're observing as well. They certainly maybe see some things that they may bring up while they go through the DVS program. But you want to observe a guy first before you start coming at him with tweaks or changes. Man, the catchers today are going to need an ice bath.
Taking a beating. This time it's Whit Hughes' turn. It was Dakota McFadden last inning. Dang, that one got him right on the foot, it looked like. It's ball 1 to the top of the order, Luke Fenley. Yeah, looking on the replay on YouTube, that can't be a good feeling if you're Whit Hughes. Someone we talked about has been improving lately at the dish, which is a good thing to see. Hasn't needed to improve much behind the plate. He's been a very strong defensive catcher. Already seen him throw somebody out once on a little bit of a wild pitch, a squirter that got away from him, threw a runner out at second today. Fenley's ahead 2-0 on Eddington. Thought about it. Good eye. Ball 3 inside. It's been fastball heavy to start for Eddington. As we mentioned, only a curve and a splitter are his other two. 3 balls, no strikes. Fastball at the knees, 90 for strike 1.
And even that 90 plays up. Just
yeah.
Looking at it bare bones, obviously easier to tell on a looking strike there for Fenley, but good stuff here from Eddington.
Another fastball up a tick, 91, full count.
See if he tries to elevate that once again.
It's already worked all parts of the zone in the payoff pitch. That one's down. Hit hard out there to left, going back, and that hits the base of the wall. Lawler will grab it quickly, get it into second, and the gamer Fenley is in there with a 1-out double.
That one carried a bit further than I initially thought, but Lawler got to it quickly, like you said, able to deposit it to second base to make it interesting there, and a nice hit by Fenley, and it's been a nice day. First couple walks in his pro career, gets his 3rd double. I don't think this Beavers team, I don't know if this is a necessarily set lineup, quote unquote, with all the interchangeable new pieces that we've seen, but he keeps doing stuff like that. He'll be somewhere in the top 5.
Yeah, I think so. He looks like a guy who can lead things off, be a first inning guy for the Beavers. Certainly a lot that could change moving forward with McFadden at catcher. We've seen Sullivan play a little bit of first base. He tends to be out in right lately. Davis quickly falls behind 0-2. We know Travius Ford is going to come back at some point. There will have to clear a roster spot for him to make a return. He's an outfielder. The 0-2 to Davis. Fought off foul. Davis, 2 pop-outs to third base today. Just as Fenley before him had 2 walks. See if he can change the pattern after Fenley did. The 0-2. Spoiled again. Staying alive is Davis. So we talked about the speed from Fenley back in college. 54 total stolen bases in 5 seasons at Loris. This one's chopped down the first base line and will bump foul. So Davis stays alive again. 3rd foul ball. 6th pitch coming despite the count being 0-2. But Fenley not exactly in a steal situation here, but he can score pretty easily from second. We've already seen a few base runners try to take third on 2-out counts. Only 1 down right now for the Beavers. They a rally. They gave up the bottom of the third. On 6-3. Swing and a miss for Davis. Tipped into the glove, out number 2. And the famous Ted Lasso "Be a Goldfish, Sam" quote plays on the video board, referring to the 10-second memory of a goldfish. You know, shooters have bad memory, stuff like that. Got to forget about the past, move on.
So that's where their trivia question came from then, huh?
Yeah. That one gets over the glove of Hughes, and Fenley will easily coast over to third on the wild pitch. It's ball 1 to Whitfield. So now Fenley doesn't even have to steal second. It's given to him. Or third, excuse me.
What was the group of goldfish called? You remember?
I already forgot. It's like a groupling or it's not a school. School is just a group of fish, but goldfish in particular was something strange. The 1-0 outside, 2-0. You know, I gotta be honest here. I think I was too focused on making my own interesting point that's why I forgot.
It's too bad.
Yeah, I do that.
There's always next time.
Yeah. we got freaky fast facts tomorrow. 2 down, the 2-0 to Whitfield. Outside, this gets past Hughes. Fenley's going to come in, and as it bumps off the backstop and up the first base line, there will be no chance for a play. And so there's a run that comes across for the Beavers, now 6-4.
Well, we've seen a few too many runs scored just like that for these two teams today for the managers to sleep well tonight. But what do you know? It's a 2-run ball game, and if anything mentally clicks, it feels maybe a little bit closer because 6-3 didn't feel very close because of the fashion in which they gained it.
One swing of the bat from Yadi Rivera to the hill in right field on a grand slam. And now the 3-0 fastball elevated at 92, strike 1. So we've seen Eddington quickly get ahead and quickly get behind, all in this inning. Behind 3-1 here. Another fastball clips the zone. Well placed. I think Whitfield didn't like that one. He was ready to head down to first, and instead it's full count. Second time this inning we've seen Whitfield do that, get down 3-0, and now fight back in it 3-2. Whitfield walked once and popped out and strikes out now in his third plate appearance for out number 3. So a run comes across on the double from Fenley, but all 3 outs in the inning are by virtue of a strikeout. Derek Eddington now has 9 in his career, 3 of those tonight. Bottom of the 5th coming up on the USPBL Network.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Bottom 5 from historic downtown Utica. Jimmy, Brennan Shabath, Jeremy Otto bringing you the call here on the USPBL Network. Good game so far. Hoppers lead the Beavers 6-4. It's been an interesting game. Been some offense, been some good base running, been some bad throws, wild pitches. Not exactly your perfect 6-4 baseball game, but it's where we are.
Yeah, some of these walks I'm sure would love to be taken back if you're the pitchers, but it is what it is, and both of these teams still in this game.
Blake Porter facing Zach Blankenship in a lefty-lefty matchup. Looks at a called strike one. Porter today has reached and scored twice. Reached on a home run to left center field in the first. The shot to start things off in this game for the Hoppers, and then reached on a fielder's choice back in the third. The 0-2 gets outside for ball one. Jeremy, you talked about the walks. 6 for the Hoppers pitchers, 3 for the Beavers, and a hit batter on both sides. Not to mention the number of wild pitches and pass balls we've seen today. It's just not been a great day for pitchers and catchers. Strike 3 called. Porter looks at it at the knees. Strikeout for Blankenship, number 2.
Porter didn't love the call. He feels like he has a pretty good gauge of the zone. Hit that home run earlier, fielder's choice. After that, he scored a couple runs, but that's a way here to string together a couple quick innings if you're the Beavers. Good start at least.
Always want to get any batter in front of this guy out, Joe Burke, who feels like he's kind of due today. He's 0 for 2 right now. This one's hit out to center. Going back and now coming in. Castillo stumbling, and he dropped it. Joe Burke thought about going for 2, slows down at 1. That'll be an error for Castillo and a base runner for the Hoppers. So it looked like Castillo just didn't quite see that ball well off the bat. The sun has set. There's still light here at Jimmy John's, but the field is completely covered in shadows now. Can make it more difficult to see the ball off the bat when the lights aren't totally bright enough yet. There's still plenty daylight left. Yachty hits this one foul.
And just from our look, we need an angle that obviously showed him and his jump off the bat, but could have maybe even stumbled a bit, which caused him to.
That's what it looked like. Just not quite easy to get behind and under that ball out from center. Vera fouls another one off to the left side over his own team's dugout. Down the third base line is where our home teams usually stay.
Is that cottonwood kind of littered on the grass in right center field? You got a good shot at it on that last angle.
I think so, yeah. That's right near where those trees are. The 0-2 misses for ball one. Jesse Galindo warming up in the pen for the Beavers. Usually we see Blankenship come in and give 2 innings. He's working on his inning right here, sometimes 3 or 4. He's done 10 1/3 total this year. That's also James Crick, who we expect to see probably later in the night. Ball and 2 strikes to Rivera. Misses for 2-2. Galindo obviously pitched for the Unicorns last week in a spot appearance after their staff was dealing with some illnesses and injuries. They needed some help on that Sunday game against these Hoppers. 2-2 to Rivera, hit hard, popped up over the stands and foul.
Again, all the fans below us looking back and thinking, is that one coming back at us? But it did not. Every once in a while, because the suite area on the second line is tight because of the amount of space between the actual building and where fans can sit out. Kind of hangs over the field.
2-2 again, and this one is flared into left and will drop for a base hit. Yachty Rivera battles in that at-bat and keeps the inning alive with 1 out. Back-to-back singles.
Well, Rivera with kind of 2 different approaches in his last 2 at-bats. He bombed a ball to left field for his first professional home run. He got all of it in that one, not trying to do too much. Punching it in the outfield to continue this mini round in the 5th.
So now Schellenbarger steps up with 2 on. First pitch in the dirt misses. So we haven't mentioned it, but we are now realizing it's now Abaret, Felix Abaret, catching for the Beavers. You talked about him earlier in the pregame show, a newcomer rejoining. Also, McFadden's day is done. Strike 1 called on Schellenbarger.
Actually competing against his former team from last year. Played with this Diamond Hoppers team, Paul Nochi.
She was the manager of that 21 Hoppers team. 1-1 to Schellenbarger. Hit right back up the middle. That will drop for another single. Burke is going to be held by Kotke at third. The throw is cut off by Stubbs just in front of the mound. And for the second time today, the bases are loaded for the Hoppers with only 1 out.
Yeah, Burke did his job, kind of froze on the line drive like you're taught to do, and it hung up there long enough in front of Castillo where he was about 3/4, or 1/4, I should say, down the line, and by the time he got to third base, no chance for him to come around. But regardless, a nice little rally brewing again, trying to make it their second in 3 innings, putting some runs on the board.
First pitch swinging is Lawler. Missing that one for a strike. So Schellenbarger with that single reaching for the 7th time in just 16 at-bats in his professional career. Really off to a hot start. Lawler's done well. Coming into today, hitting just below 300 at 296, 858 OPS. Not a lot of power, no home runs, 4 RBIs, but we mentioned the discipline. 13 walks to 9 Ks. Quickly behind 0-2, and he flares this one out into left, over the head of Guzman, and that's going to drop. 1 run comes across, it's Burke. The next run can't be caught by Abaret. It goes back behind him. Covering to chase it is Blankenship, so now runners at second and third. A 2 RBI double for Sean Lawler in a clutch spot.
Well, either a really good read or a bit of a gamble there from Rivera. Either way, it works out because he was ahead of steam behind Joe Burke. He was nearly trailing him there to make his way to home plate. The Hoppers now inching their way, trying to make it a comfortable lead once again at 8-4.
So as Burke and Rivera come around to score, make it 8-4. That's Schellenbarger that got over to third, and obviously Lawler with the double now stands at second as Noah Marcoux is at the plate. Lefty-lefty matchup, and Marcoux looks at strike 1.
Just waiting for him to unleash on a ball when you least expect it. Kind of has that calm presence in the box
really
as well.
Does, yeah. Doesn't look like the moment is too big for him or the lights are too bright in his first few professional games. 0 for 2 today. Ground out, pop out. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Lawler gets RBIs 5 and 6 of the year with that double. Just his 12th game played this year. Played in all 12 now for the Hoppers. Swing and a miss for Marcoux at that breaking ball, 79 below the zone. Good pitch from Blankenship, and he needs it. Ball and 2 strikes. Check this swing, strike anyways. Out number 2. This time it's looking. I think that's our first strikeout looking today, Jeremy. I can confirm it is. So Marcoux goes down for out number 2. Second out of the inning. The first out was Porter, who led things off with a strikeout at the top of the order. Near the top, 2-hole hitter.
Don't sleep on this at bat here to Whit Hughes. 0 for 2 here today. Better contact his second time around, but starting to find some doubles power. Let's see what he does here with 2 outs.
He had a double for an RBI. Looks at strike 1 on Sunday against the Unicorns. He's now up to 4 RBIs. That's in his 7 games played, 22 at-bats. The 0-1 inside, 1-1. Hughes wasn't necessarily a late arrival to the USPBL as far as he was here on opening day, but he did get to spring training late. Jeremy, I remember you and I met him on his first day, which was media day, about 5, 6, 7 days after a lot of these other tryout guys had made it. The 1-1, this is chopped on the ground, charging is Collette. He'll throw to first, and that's an easy out, number 3. So 2 runs come across for the Hoppers before the Beavers can get out of it. And when we come back, Jeremy Otto takes over in the 6th. It's 8-4 Hoppers from Jimmy John's Field.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at Ticketsmarter.com.
Elevate your life on the road with a new Lincoln from Crest Lincoln. We're here to provide a purchase and ownership experience that's on your terms. We have new Lincolns arriving every day, or take advantage of ordering your Lincoln exactly how you'd like it, and you'll receive an additional $1,000 benefit towards that purchase or lease. We're celebrating 100 years of elevating the driving experience. Discover the possibilities at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights, or visit us today at crestlincoln.com.
Well, when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by members of the American Homebrewers Association. Play ball with the best. Two Hearted Ale, the iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery. Comstock, Michigan, please drink responsibly. Back out for his second inning. Here is Derek Eddington. Took over for Carson Ferry in the 5th. Did allow a 1-out double, which came around to score, but only faced 4 batters where he struck out the side in the end. Another ball that went out the glove of Hughes. Those have been a little bit of a problem for both of these catchers, and now I guess 3 catchers, with Albaret coming in the last half inning defensively. J.D. Stubbs, Wellington Guzman, Marcos Castillo. Your 3 men due up here in the 6th inning. 0-1. Fastball at 89 and for strike 2. 6th inning today brought to you by Jimmy John's. We thank Jimmy John's for their partnership with the USPBL network. The infield all back. Outfield at medium depth. Now the 0 in the hands and whittled foul. These days are so sunny and hot lately. Anytime when the sun goes down and the breeze starts to pick up ever so slightly, it almost feels chilly, when in reality it's still, a good 75 degrees, I'd bet, right now. Well, that's kind of the feeling here in the ballpark, at least up here in the press box. We're spoiled, obviously, with the air conditioning, so we're not sweating all too much anyway. Yeah, 73 degrees right now. A predicted high of 90 tomorrow for a fireworks Friday, 91 on Saturday, and 84 on Sunday. Now the 0-2. Popped him up. Rivera is under it. He squeezes the first out here in the 6th. For Wellington Guzman, a guy coming to us from UNC Pembroke. Showed some major pop this year, 8 doubles, 15 homers. Lined out to pause his first time up at second base and hit by a pitch in the 4th. Still looking for that coveted first hit. We've already seen a first hit in this game by his teammate Marcos Castillo as a first pitch curveball pumped in for strike 1. So Eddington, fastball, curveball, splitter. We haven't seen the splitter a whole lot here today through 29 tosses. 0-1 off the plate outside. Eddington 6'8", 218 at Pickford, Michigan. Went to Davenport University in-house as well, in-state. The 1-1. Curveball on the ground. Pop pass to Charge across his body. Make it look easy along with Burke with his pick at first. 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th. This is a tryout guy or a showcase guy, whatever way you want to look at it. Showcase kind of a mix of guys that the USPBL targeted and said, yeah, we can't offer you a spot right now, but, you know, come back at the showcase, or guys that were still competing. Davenport's had a pretty good rotation over the last few years. As Castillo sees that one tip into the glove of Hughes. His debut back on June 15th of last week in a non-public game. Went on to pitch later that week as well. Ended up pitching 4 innings out of the pen in that game. That was the super hot game, the first kind of those days here in Michigan. We had another one on Tuesday where there was no game. There was one yesterday as he jumps on the 91-mile-an-hour fastball and ticks it back 1-1 on Marcos Castillo here.
Yeah, I think that was the day the players weren't hanging out in the dugouts. They were in the suites that were covered in shade.
Yeah, but he threw 4 innings that day, no walks, 6 Ks. Obviously being stretched out, coming from college, the only way they're going to be comfortable with an arm they're thinking about using in the bullpen for that long in his first outing, but Ryan Kotke saying afterwards, hey, look, made us look very good on the coaching department from what he was able to do there.
He says that all the newcomers have kind of done that. Schellenbarger, Rivera, Marcoux, Eddington, and Orth, all new additions within the past couple weeks for the Hoppers.
The 2-2. Fastball high, 3-2, looking for another minimum inning in this game. We had one back in, surprisingly, a 4-pitch walk by Ferry. That was the double play from the outfield. 9-4. The 3-2. But way high as Hughes had to go out of the crouch. So another walk here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 walks, make it 6 actually for this Hoppers pitching staff. Also have hit 2 batters thus far.
Just the first one for Eddington though in his short career here with the USPBL, but something to be said for when you get 9 strikeouts before you get a walk. And kind of going back to our tryout discussion, it's clear that Ryan Kotke and John Dombrowski took a lot of time and energy and focused on scouting these players as deeply as they could to make the right decisions. And so far, while it is early, it seems like they have, and gotten a lot of guys who bring good stuff to the table on both sides, defensively and at the dish.
That one of the slower fastballs we've seen tonight, tails high on Ryan Sullivan. He had a home run back after he was kind of overmatched or wasn't seeing the ball quite well, but he turned around a 3-2 pitch. Left little doubt that it was going to squeak out. 2-0 back into the glove as Castillo advances to second. Every stolen base this year brought to you by Huntington Bank.
Yeah. Castillo got a nice jump, kind of started to go on the righty Eddington with his back turned before he had even made his move to the plate.
2-1, swing and a miss. So 2-2 now with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. A 8-4 advantage for the Diamond Hoppers. Eddington looking to keep this game right where it is for the second consecutive inning. 2-2 high, fastball at 89, 3-2 on Sullivan. There's no action in the Hoppers' pen, so they're really banking on Eddington at least getting them through this inning. Very little going on in the Beavers' pen either.
I think they'll want him to get through this one and maybe one more before they lean on Drummond to set up DeSanti.
Popped him up. It's going to be a miracle if that stays in play. It will not. Kind of corkscrewing himself into the ground to even make contact with that baseball.
Have to when it's up and in like that, but trying to defend the strike zone. Sullivan making sure that's not a breaking ball that tails back in. Good defensive hitting just to see another pitch.
The 3-2. Popped him up. This one will stay in place. Center of the diamond. Eddington now realizes it's below him. Skirts out of the way as Burt comes over for the 3rd out here in the 6th. The Hoppers with an 8-4 advantage. We head to the home half after this on the USPBL Network.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
James Crick now into the game, maybe a little earlier than we expected, trying to hold this game, but maybe more importantly, trying to get him some work and make sure he does see at least an inning here today, here in the 6th.
Yeah, Crick, despite 7 appearances this year, has only pitched in 7 innings. Is, like we've talked about, primarily been a late inning, last inning guy. Hasn't had a ton of save opportunities, only 1 save so far. But we're getting close to the time limit here on 2.5 hours. We're plus 2 hours already with a 7:03 start. So who knows? Maybe that factors into the decision of Vaughn Joshua and Josh Hines, thinking we might exceed the time limit and not play 9. Want to make sure Crick gets out there for some work.
It was Unicorns Mammoths yesterday. So the rest of the week for the Beavers looks like this. They will play the doubleheader on Saturday and then not play again. Oh, wait a minute. What am I looking at here? Oh, they play tomorrow again, I beg your pardon. It looked like a doubleheader because it was back-to-back Westside there, yeah. So they'll play tomorrow, Friday, and then on the 26th, Sunday, a day game, both versus the Woolly Mammoths. 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Crick up high.
That's one of the fun things about the doubleheader season that we're now in. It took us a few weekends to get there, but now we'll regularly have Saturday doubleheaders that are between the same two teams.
The 1-0 stood them up straight, 2-0.
So by that token, the other two teams often play each other Friday and then Sunday, which we saw with the Hoppers and Unicorns last week. So it's kind of like a weekend series, a 2-game, maybe 3, depending on whatever the Thursday game is. That typically won't be two teams matching up the same against each other, but
3-0 on pause now, the second baseman. His fellow middle infielder Pup is on deck, and then Blake Porter. That's 9-1-2 in Kotke and Dombrowski's order.
Pause, Porter, Pup. How about that?
The 3-0. Fastball at 89 in for strike one. It's a fastball that's been all the way up to 94 so far this year. Consistently hit 91, 93.
Mitch Akers said he just badly wants for Crick to pop a 95 and call it a day.
Call it a day, meaning getting himself out of here in terms of onto an affiliate squad.
Yeah, Crick's someone who's been liked a lot by some major league organizations. Kind of a guy who's waiting on the draft, which is coming up soon, waiting for the draft to happen before we see what his fate is as far as the majors goes.
Upper velocity has been something kind of newer to Crick. Just kind of slowly upticked it as his career went on. But that's what that COVID fifth year can do for some of these guys. You know, maybe they're a little bit of a late bloomer in terms of velo, or they're working on something and they casually see it fly up. I mean, he spent 5 seasons at a Division II in Hillsdale.
Yep.
1-0 is high and away, kind of voiced some frustration, you know, maybe some this year and just previous years in terms of working on things. Not able to do a lot of stuff, obviously, in the offseason outdoors, or really even the preseason either. I mean, you see some college teams even here locally having to cancel games because it's too cold or it's snowing.
Yeah, it's always tough, college baseball in the Midwest, especially in Michigan. I mean, summer in Michigan is about 3 months and doesn't usually really start until school's already out in May. So we see a lot of these schools play down south for the first, month, 2 months of the season, get kind of a southern road tour going.
2-0 is outside, 3-0 on Pup. Crick grew up a White Sox fan from the Chicago area. Favorite player was Paul Konerko, one of those Detroit Tiger killers back in the day.
There were so many.
Travis Hafner comes to mind in division as well for the Indians. Jim Tomei.
Yep.
3-0. Floats a curveball in for strike one.
Really surprised to see Crick fall behind 3-0 twice. And we talked about Eddington having his first walk. Crick, as we mentioned, has had 7 appearances. That last walk to pause was his first one this year as well.
Short lead, kind of a running start on the secondary for pause. He's staying where he is, and now it's back-to-back 3-2 counts to 9-1 in the order.
That's a 76-mile-an-hour slider up in the zone. Pretty good pitch for Pup. You see why he took that big hack. That's when you got to time up and take advantage of with the runner on, nobody out.
Holds an extra beat, the 3-2. Slider in on the hands. Lollipops its way behind second. Fenley running a long way across the track for out number 1.
Wow, what a nice job by Fenley to stick with that. I think, when you see it go up and you start to make your move as a second baseman, you think, oh, man, this ball's getting all the way over towards the line. Like, this might not be mine. It's my first baseman here. It's my right fielder here. But he listened. Nobody called him off, so he just kept chugging, and was able to make the catch.
Runner in motion, feeds down to second, and diving in is Paws.
A well-placed throw by Abaret. Just didn't quite have the gas on it in order to get there in time to beat the speedy Paws. Perfectly placed, though, right in front of that second base bag on the first base side.
The 0-1. Slider in on the hands as Porter swings through it.
I think Porter badly fell for that one, expecting a fastball. And that slider was tunneled pretty well, and that's why you see him way above it as he comes through. Slider's working well, and Crick is using it a lot.
Hard hit right at Guzman. Ate him up, though. Around the third base bag. Pause. Might have a play. No. Guzman will eat it in short center field. And the Diamond Hoppers add another. It's 9-4 here in the sixth.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Guzman. I think Paws only really scores there because Kotke's paying nice attention to the field, and he can see as soon as that ball hit Guzman, it kind of looked like maybe nicked the outside of his hand and hurt him a little bit, so he hesitated running back for it, and he realized as he was hesitating and kind of in pain that he was still the closest fielder to it and the closest one to make a play. Kotke was well aware and did a nice job sending Paws, who's got a lot of speed, already a stolen base before that, sending him home.
Hard hit off the bat at 93, but they will rule it an error as it was kind of hit right at him. 0-1 on Joe Burke. He had a single back in the fifth, popped out in the third, and grounded out in the first. Now the 0-1. Slider away. 1-1 on Burke now. Check some scores around the major leagues now. Not a lot of action to be had here today. A lot of day games, obviously, with Thursday switching over to Friday. Usually the sign of new series coming upon us. One intriguing game in progress. It's the Astros and the Yankees. Astros with a 6-3 lead in that one. Tough day for Tyone. 5 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 6 earned runs.
Is that game one of a series with them?
You know, I'm not sure.
I think that should be a good series. The Astros kind of struggling a little bit lately. Uncharacteristically have lost a few series that you kind of wouldn't think they should have, but still one of the better teams in the AL. And obviously the Yankees, are looking for anybody that can beat them and even compete. Astros kind of on the short list of teams in the American League that can do that.
See him kind of delay on several pitches just like that. Here in the sixth inning with runners on base, Porter was jockeying off the bag at first as well. He was not going, but Burke will look at a ball outside. So a home run for Bregman is 9th. And Alvarez hits his 22nd of the year for the Astros as well. Giancarlo Stanton hits his 15th. Phillies and Padres currently warming up in sunny California. Luis Suarez for the Phillies and Musgrove for the Padres, who's been very good of late. Just a 1.59 ERA for Joe Musgrove checking a plate today.
Very, very good. Been one of the best pitchers in the league the past 2 seasons.
Flirted with was it a perfect game or a no-hitter the couple outings ago?
I thought it was no-hitter. Obviously we saw, is it Mikolas or Michaelis, however you say it, for
I believe it's Michaelis.
The Cardinals,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Had the 8 2/3.
How about that? Pistons are going to make a little acquisition here.
Picking up Jalen Duren with the 13th pick. Wow, Troy Weaver is Jalen Duren out of Memphis, a ferocious shot blocker and kind of a very athletic, movable big man. Played with a Michigan native, Amani Bates, at Memphis.
Skips in, throw will sail into center field. Porter didn't even slide, so an easy cruise for him to third base. And now with 2 outs. And a power hitter and some more coming up, and Yadi Rivera looking to make it 10 or more.
Yeah, I was wondering if, we saw Crick throw over. He was obviously worried about Porter. Was kind of flirting with the steal, but Porter's not necessarily a speed guy. He's not slow either. I was wondering if he was going to go, and I think with the out to Burke, moving it up to 2 outs, so much more getting in scoring position.
91 in there for strike 1 on Rivera. He had a bomb of a grand slam in the 3rd, then a single to run scored back in the 5th as well on a 2-2 count. Line drive to right, Castillo. Good break on it for the 3rd out in the gap. Another run to score off the leadoff walk. Comes back to bite James Crick here in the 6th. 9-4 Hoppers on the USPBL network.
Elevate your life on the road with a new Lincoln from Crest Lincoln. We're here to provide a purchase and ownership experience that's on your terms. We have new Lincolns arriving every day, or take advantage of ordering your Lincoln exactly how you'd like it, and you'll receive an additional $1,000 benefit towards that purchase or lease. We're celebrating 100 years of elevating the driving experience. Discover the possibilities at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights, or visit us today at crestlincoln.com.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Felix Abaretz will get his first at-bat this year as a member of the Beavers in the USPBL. Brendan told you earlier, just 9 at-bats in the Pioneer League earlier. Pioneer League was a rookie ball affiliate league with Major League Baseball before they kind of cut down on a number of affiliates around baseball as he put under into that one. They're wondering where it is. He still can't over his head all the way to the gap. Brett cruises into second. Luckily for Lawler, Porter was drifting behind him. Yeah, off the bat, I thought for sure that one had a bit more drift than Lawler thought. Kind of lost it in the lights. But as we've mentioned, we're a little bit lower, than most baseball stadiums. It really works out in terms of calling pitches and seeing the motions on those. But sometimes it's hard to see balls kind of fly out.
Right. We kind of can lose them pretty quickly, and that's the second time in 7 days we've seen an outfielder in left. It was Eric Ramirez for this Beavers team recently in a game who lost a ball. For that one, that time it was a home run. So I don't know if it's something just about in left in the way the ball comes off or not, but Porter clearly saw it quickly. He was racing over when he realized that Lawler couldn't have it.
Pause over to first base for the first out as Abaret advances to third. So now Kemba Walker apparently coming to the Detroit Pistons as well from the Knicks.
There's a lot going on right now.
My goodness.
It sounds like the Pistons no longer have Jalen Duren.
No? Okay.
In the top and in the team draft right now.
Line drive to left, that one tailing towards the foul pole, and it will hook foul off the bat here of Luke Fenley. He's seen the ball well.
Yeah, that one was, that sound off the bat was nice.
Kemba Walker last year averaging just 12, down from 25 points a game, 20 points a game, and 19 points a game. So hoping to get back to his 4 straight All-Star appearances between 17 and 20. Now the 0-1. Curveball, tough play for Rivera. Fires a dart over to first base. They'll concede the run. Still have a 9-5 lead with Aberrett coming home. Nice swing of the bat for him and an early run. And Fenley gets himself his 3rd RBI of the year.
It was a nice play from Rivera. Kind of not exactly a pressure situation. The run's going to score almost every time there, but deep in the hole, not exactly a slow guy, and Fenley on the base paths.
This one low and in to Chris Davis, 0 for 3 today. Pop out, strikeout. Made a nice running catch in left field. We had to cover a lot of ground.
Yep.
Base is clear, the 1-0. 90-mile-an-hour fastball outside. 7th inning today brought to you by Pepsi. We thank Pepsi for their partnership with the USPBL this year. Line drive to right in the breadbasket of Schellenbarger. Makes the catch, and only 1 run comes around to score. 9-5 Diamond Hoppers. Back with more after this. Actually, it's time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, brought to you by Michigan Orthopedic Surgeons. Here today.
Come on, Jeremy, how could you forget our favorite part?
Well, sometimes you conveniently try to forget, I think, but you know, we're still here.
Yep.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Michigan Orthopedic Surgeons. Back with more after this, and a Hoppers dominated the game thus far on the USPBL network.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit, with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Another pitching change on the mound here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Believe that's Nick Shaw. They're wearing different numbers here today. Sometimes it is hard.
Tends to happen with the new unis.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get all those numbers straight.
there's no 17 on the pitching staff for the Beavers. Understood that Nick Shaw was likely going to go today.
Well, you could get Nick Shaw's uniform or any other uniform worn by a Beaver here this weekend. Profits of the auction will benefit AFC of will benefit the Sweet Dreams Project, I beg your pardon. Can head to 32auctions.com/Ted Lasso. That auction will be open until Saturday, July 2nd, so you have a little bit of time, but you want to get there soon. Most of these jerseys for these special theme nights are auctioned off after the games are over. Swing and a miss here by Bryant Schellenbarger, Sean Lawler, and Noah Marcoux will follow. Little dribbler, Fenley. One up and one down here in the 7th.
So I guess not breaking news, updates for our basketball fans and just for my own sanity because I'm going crazy over here trying to figure out what is happening with the Pistons in the NBA. Shams Charania and Adrian Wojnarowski are simply not on the same page, and they're the two most reliable news breakers on Twitter and just in the NBA in general. And it sounds like the Pistons traded away the pick they got from the Portland Trailblazers, who got it from Milwaukee in the trade with Jeremy Grant a couple nights ago. They traded that pick to either the Knicks or the Hornets, and the Hornets were the ones who drafted Jalen Duren. And the Knicks acquired Duren in a trade and now are trading Kemba Walker and Duren to the Pistons. It's not clear what the Knicks get in return. I think it's that pick, but also there's some mention that Charlotte got that pick in the Jeremy Grant trade, which is a 2025 first-round pick. So a lot of hoopla. It sounds like Jalen Duren is a Piston, and so is Kemba Walker, but I don't know how long Kemba Walker stays here. Not exactly someone the Pistons really want. I don't think he fits their long-term plans.
We also do have a 36th round pick later tonight.
Yep.
So maybe there's something in the works there. 1-2, swing and a miss. Fastball at 87. 2 up and 2 down here for Shaw in the 7th. Haven't had a lot of Ks tonight. That's just the 5th combined for the Beavers in 6 2/3 innings. Noah Marcoux looking for his first hit today. 1 hit and just over 10 at-bats in his pro career thus far. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Strike 2. Shaw attacking the zone here early on. Does just that there. Zings it in at 92. And he strikes out Marcoux. 1, 2, 3. A couple Ks in and out for Shaw.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities.
Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Jeremy Addo and Brendan Shabath back with you here from the ballpark. Well, we've just gotten word over the PA that this will be the last inning, so obviously if the Beavers come back and push a bottom of the eighth, they have some work to do, 4 runs at least. We have surpassed the time limit. Mike DeSanti taking over on the hill.
DeSanti's been one of the more fun guys to watch this year. Has that closer mentality, really embodies everything a closer is supposed to be. Likes to get out there, throw hard, be exciting. Has looked good this year too.
6'5", 230 pounds, out of New York, Long Island area. Had a chance to catch up with his father earlier today. Actually works in our industry as a producer for various networks, ESPN, Big Ten Network, CBS.
You know, just high-level stuff, no big deal.
3-4-5, do it for the Beavers. So if they're going to do something, now is the time in a lot of ways, as Whitfield looks at a strike. This part of the order has yet to record a hit today. They've reached twice off a walk and a hit by pitch. Now the 0-1, swing and a miss as he tips 93 into the glove. The only player left on the bench is Eric Ramirez to this point. Albarette, the backup catcher, was inserted for Dakota McFadden defensively back in the late innings. Righty and righty, the 0-2. My goodness,
Whoa.
he baffled him with the slider that tunneled well out of the right arm of DeSanti.
That was quite the pitch from DeSanti. It's funny, we were talking to his father today about his son and some of his best pitches, and he loves to throw that fastball by guys, and he did it on the second pitch to Whitfield, 93. Whitfield never stood a chance, and then, you know, his dad was telling us his curveball is his best pitch, though. He really loves that pitch, and a lot of guys want the slider, too, and that was a little bit of an in-between. I think it was the slider, but, man, it was a beautiful one.
Here's the 0-1. Hung that breaking ball. Going to be punched into right field for a base hit.
Not going to see J.D. Stubbs go 0 for in a full game too many times. 0 for 3 before that. He was due to get on base somehow.
First pitch to Wellington Guzman, in for strike one. You see DeSanti works very quickly. Never really an impact for him, but he did face a pitch clock last year in the Atlantic League. It also had a automated strike zone at that point as well, just kind of testing it out. Little pop fly, Schellenbarger over. Patrolling his way back to first, J.D. Stubbs, and now we have our first 2 outs here in the 8th. Marcos Castillo, walk in the 4th, walk in the 6th, a single in the 2nd. He came around to score as well. Wears number 22 today, and we don't really have indication if that's what he'll wear going forward. But
I left the number spots blank for Castillo and Guzman, and I was just realizing, I was like, oh, I didn't fill those in, and they got the the Lasso jerseys today. I should wait another game before I
don't trip yourself up.
Cement their numbers, yeah.
0-1, high fastball, nicked off the top of the screen and back towards the Sweets. 0-2 on Castillo now. One pitch away is DeSanti from cementing a victory for the Diamond Hoppers here today. Oh, 2, chopped foul. That one didn't snap the way he wanted to, and Castillo leaning out of the direction of it as well.
Yeah, I think Mike wanted to end the game how he did that first strikeout to Whitfield.
So when Ferry, who pitched 4 complete here tonight, then Eddington through some solid innings of relief, and now DeSanti, who sees this one fly to center. Porter has a good break on it. Squeeze is out number 3, and just a dinky little single into center field against DeSanti here in the 8th inning. He punches out one emphatically with the breaking ball. Hit 94 on the gun here today. 9-5, your final score. Back with the postgame after this on the USPBL Network.
Diamond Hoppers, ain't too many of the teams can defeat us. You on the sideline, warming up the benches. Need a lesson, I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a Diamond Hopper fan, point 'em out. 8, fly ball, catch a frog, walk it out. 8, every time we score, I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same timing. Let's rock. Diamond Hoppers, Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic?
You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
They call me Prospects, since the day I was born as a diver's watch.
The challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Elevate your life on the road with a new Lincoln from Crest Lincoln. We're here to provide a purchase and ownership experience that's on your terms. We have new Lincolns arriving every day, or take advantage of ordering your Lincoln exactly how you'd like it, and you'll receive an additional $1,000 benefit towards that purchase or lease. We're celebrating 100 years of elevating the driving experience. Discover the possibilities at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights, or visit us today at crestlincoln.com.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Second to none, and safety is our priority.
So did you guys both went to UNOH, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you guys know each other. Cool.
While credit cards help pay for everyday expenses, carrying a balance each month can be tough.
But aren't you younger?
Since interest rates come
And you're
22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm
We
both
graduated Right.
The balance goes on.
You guys liked it there?
A green
Yeah.
debt management
I mean,
program
around
helps you regain control
the
of your
team was good and we
finances.
were winning.
Right. Ohio kind of sucks.
Oh, yeah. It's cold.
I got family in Toledo, so I've been to Ohio a little bit. Yeah, they're like a suburb like Rossford. I don't know if you heard of it, but
Paying off credit card debt in 5 years or less.
yeah.
Our caring certified counselors work.
So did you both move from Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I came
to get
like
control of
5 years ago.
Okay, and what about you?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay.
Call 844-572-5921 and get control of high interest.
Were you in Puerto Rico before that?
Yeah, I just knew the language before I got here.
Okay. Well, so what age did you move here?
Every summer,
Okay.
my family
Just
loves
for
having a
ball?
neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has
How long?
plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Down here with our Jimmy John's player of the game after a 9-5 win for the Hoppers. It's a newcomer, Yadi Rivera. He's here with his translator of the Mammoths, Christian Perez. These two were teammates at UNOH in college. Perez will be the translator for this interview. So, Yadi, you get your first professional home run in a big fashion, a grand slam that was kind of the deciding factor in the game. How does it feel to get your first one out of the park, out of the way?
Se siente increíble, es algo inexplicable. ¿Sabe? No me lo esperaba, tampoco fue algo que lo busqué, pero una experiencia increíble venir aquí a dar lo mejor de mí y sacar la bola.
So he's saying it felt incredible. He can't describe the feeling. He wasn't trying to go yard. He was just trying to do a job. He's just overwhelmed. He said it felt incredible.
And it's interesting that you say you weren't trying to go yard. We talked with your manager, Ryan Kotke, and my broadcast partner, Jeremy, about the sound of the ball off your bat in batting practice, and it's just a smooth swing. It doesn't seem like you're trying to hit the ball hard. What's the key for you to getting that?
Prácticamente es swings cortos, simple, tirarle las manos a la pelota, sin hacer swings grandes, cogiendo un buen picheo.
So he said basically short to the ball, not trying to do too much, and also swinging at the right pitches. And he's big on just short and compact swings.
seems like a new thing for a lot of those hoppers, newcomers that we've talked about, having simple, not complicated swings, making the game easier. So you guys pick up a win, 5th of the year, after tough 2 losses to the Unicorns. Now, you're new to this Hoppers team, but you guys in the Unicorns have been battling back and forth. Seem like the 2 best teams in the league. You guys suffered 2 tough losses. You get them on Saturday in a doubleheader. Looking to get revenge in that one?
Oh, pues sí, dile que sí, que ¿sabes? Después de haber perdido teniendo un buen juego con ellos, siento que tenemos el equipo competitivo y vinimos dispuestos a ganarle.
He said yes, he's looking forward to those games on Saturday. He felt like he feels like they have a pretty good team, and he feels like it's going to be a competitive game, and he's ready for it.
All right, well, that's our player of the game, Yadi Rivera with Christian Perez. We'll be back here tomorrow, 7:05. We'll see Christian and his Mammoths take on the Beavers on the USPBL Network. For Jeremy Otto, I'm Brendan Shabat. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night.